This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine Volume 4 from December 11, 1998, celebrating the release of the Dreamcast console. It announces the latest information about the Dreamcast, packed within the magazine. Key highlights include Dreamcast's Internet access, Dream Passport, Dreampoint Bank, and Dreamcast partners. The issue features a 23-page special, introducing games available to play right now. Game titles teased on the cover include Character Fighter 3TH, Penten Pentathlon, Godzilla Generations, which was released internationally as Godzilla Generations, Magical Sword X, Flight Shooting, which is likely a generic title for a shooting game, Pop Music, Frame Gride, Project Barkley, which became known as Shenmue, Seaman, and Ikki K Force 2012. Special features also spotlight White Illumination, Sonic Adventure, Buggy Heat, Incoming Human Final War, Machine World Evolution, known internationally as Sega Rally 2, and D2, featuring a dialogue between Kenji Ino and Kentaro Oki. The magazine also advertises luxury prizes and presents to celebrate its 4th issue. This page is an advertisement for Sega featuring a vast crowd of people seated in a barren landscape under a sky full of clouds. In the foreground, a girl in a school uniform is running with a yellow handkerchief waving behind her. The text in the center reads, 1 million people, won't you drop your handkerchief? The Sega logo is at the bottom left of the image. This page details the Hankachi Otoshi campaign for Dreamcast, explaining the correct way to participate and what happens if you get it wrong. It's presented as a flowchart with cartoon images of people reacting to the different stages. The campaign starts with Dreamcast owners entering without using their home phone line. Participants receive Hankachi mail and are instructed to reply to Sega within 12 hours. If they reply within the time limit, they win a Hawaii trip. If they fail to reply within 12 hours, they lose their chance to win the Hawaii trip. The campaign period is from November 27, 1998 to January 20, 1999, with a high winning chance of 1 in 1 people, suggesting very favorable odds of winning something, but the chances are per minute. Prizes include a Hawaii trip and other goods like audio sets and Miffy clips. The bottom of the page also mentions Dreamcast Partners membership. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game 7th Cross Evolution, a biological evolution simulation RPG developed by NEC Interchannel. The advert highlights the game's concept of SOM artificial life technology, which allows players to experience world and evolution in a Dreamcast-rendered environment. The page showcases in-game screenshots, including gameplay interfaces and character models, alongside promotional text emphasizing a campaign where buyers can win 1 million yen worth of product coupons and a further 50,000 yen coupon for submitting feedback on the game. The bottom right of the advert details the release date as December 23, 1998, and the suggested retail price as 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The web page address for more information is also provided as http://www.nihit.gr.jp/. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Sentu Turb, an advanced action role-playing adventure by NEC Home Electronics. The game is set in a cute and surreal world and features a lonely girl exploring the universe. It's described as a cat versus sheep battle using 1 million polygons. 4 screenshots are shown depicting colorful and cartoonish 3D environments with in-game characters. The game was scheduled for release in Japan on January 14, 1999, with a suggested retail price of 5,800 yen. This page is the contents page of the magazine and highlights the exciting articles within. It features a dialogue between the presidents of Sega and Capcom commemorating the Dreamcast launch. There's urgent news about the voice communication game Seaman and first screenshots of the Dreamcast version of Psychic Force 2012. Atlus's new title Maken X is previewed, described as the ultimate real adventure from the Okada and Kaneko team. Konami is announcing 2 big titles, a flight shooting game and pop-in music. Yu Suzuki and AM2's latest creation, Shenmue, is officially announced. And the Dreamcast special feature covers upcoming new titles, including Dream Passport, Frame Gride, Kita E, White Illumination, Sonic Adventure, and Buggy Heat. Dreamcast Hot Information lists new game details for Aero Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, Sega Rally 2 Feet, Evolution, The World of Sacred Device, Incoming, 7th Cross, and Power Dolls. Finally, there's a special project dialogue about D2 between Kenji Ino and Kenji Otsuki. This page is the game index for this issue of Dreamcast Magazine, listing titles for both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn. For Dreamcast, you'll find entries for games like the shooter Incoming, the flight sim Aero Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, the adventure game Key to E, White Illumination, and the monster mayhem of Godzilla Generations. Fighting fans have Psychic Force 2012 and Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle. There's also the unique Seaman, the epic Shenmue, Sega Rally 2, Power Stone, and Sonic Adventure. Other titles include D2, Dream Passport, Buggy Heat, the flight game Arrowwings, Frame Gride, Pen Pen Tri-Isolon, Pop Sin Music, and Maken X. For Sega Saturn, the index lists games like Idol Janshi Tsuchipai, Special Limited Edition 5th Anniversary Package, Winning Post 3 Program 98, Capcom Generation 5, Fighters, Shizen, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3,
Tabidachi no Uta, Noel 3, Real Mahjong Adventure Umi Summer Waltz, Roommate W, Futari, and Ruriro no Yuki. Each listing includes the page number where you can find more information in the magazine. This page is an advert for a Dreamcast Magazine anniversary giveaway, offering a range of prizes. Up for grabs are 100 visual memory units, 30 racing controllers, 30 arcade sticks, 20 Dreamcast keyboards, 30 copies of Dreamcast software featuring a fighting game screenshot, 3 sets of Yugawa Senmu clear file sets featuring images of a Japanese businessman, and 1 Dreamcast t-shirt. Additionally, 50 people can win Sonic Adventure telecards, 50 can win Virtua Fighter 3 TB telecards, 50 can win Sega Rally 2 telecards, and 50 can win ID2 no Shokutaku Sega Rally 2 telecards. The advert mentions it's the final round of a 4-issue campaign, with many items being given away, encouraging readers to apply soon. Dreamcast Magazine is holding a 4-issue Dream Super Gift Prize promotion featuring 12 distinct prizes. Limited quantities are available for each, ranging from 1 to 3 winners for prizes 3 to 12. Unique prizes include a signed autograph board, 1 winner, a Dreamcast Happy Coat, 1 winner, a Gundam Wing figure collection, 1 winner, a Tokimeki Memorial CD set, 1 winner, and an Astro Boy digital watch, 1 winner. More common Dreamcast branded prizes, with 3 winners, each include a prepaid card set, piggy bank, calculator, mug, and mousepad. Sections K, L, M, and N offer prepaid cards for 50 winners each across the 4 issues, featuring characters from Sengoku Turb, Power Stone, Penta Rijuathlon, likely Sega-related, and Blue Stinger.
This page advertises a range of Dreamcast and Sega Saturn prizes for readers. Accessories include a Dreamcast mobile phone strap, Tokimeki no Hukago ne pins and key holders, a Shizen Season 1999 mini calendar, and a Find Love 2 Rhapsody mousepad. For fitness, there's a Pocket Este Walk pedometer. Game software prizes feature Sega Saturn's Real Mahjong Adventure, Sea Summer Waltz, 3 copies, and Dreamcast's Capcom Generation 4 feet. Music and art are represented by a Mariko Kuda poster and telecard set, a Beatmania poster and CD sampler set, and a Sayuki Kuno album clear file set. Posters are also offered for Evolution, Eternal Dungeons. Finally, the page highlights telecards featuring artwork from games such as Climax Landers, Puyo Puyo N, The King of Fighters 98, Evolution, Eternal Dungeons, and a Samsung Yoshinari Picture Kids-chan design. This page is an advertorial showcasing a prize giveaway featuring a variety of merchandise related to Dreamcast and other games. Prizes include a t-shirt set for the Japanese game Find Love 2 Rhapsody, a sticker for Super Robot Wars F, Final Chapter, and a desk calendar for Real Mahjong 99, another Japan-only title. Other prizes include a poster and telephone card set featuring the Japanese idol Kanetsuki Marina, a strategy guide for Super Robot Wars F and F Final, and another poster and telephone card set featuring idol Sakuda Tange. There's also a pin badge and keychain set for Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You, stationery sets featuring Tokimeki Memorial, characters Fujisaki Shiori and Nijino Saki, and a clear file set for the Japanese game Shizen Seasons. Rounding out the prizes is a Sagata Sanshiro figure, the iconic Sega Saturn mascot, a keychain figure set from Super Robot Wars, and a polo shirt for Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2. This page announces the Dreamcast launch and the start of a software campaign. The Dreamcast is finally on sale with 4 launch titles. Among these are Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, featuring famous martial artists, Godzilla Generations, described as a parody where Godzilla destroys a happy town, and Pen Pen Tri Icelon, which seems to be about strange couples in a town. There's also a 1-to-3 campaign, where buying 3 Dreamcast games between November 27th and December 31st will earn you a special Dreamcast alarm clock. This page is from Dreamcast Magazine Weekly News Landmark, with the dates Friday, November 27th to Thursday, December 3rd. This page features news related to the Dreamcast. In the top left, there's an announcement for in-store events to celebrate the release of Pen Pen Tri Icelon. It lists dates and locations for tournaments at various stores across Japan in late November for people to play the game. The top center article, titled, "Nice to Meet You, I'm Takizawa," is about actor Hideaki Takizawa appearing in a Dreamcast commercial with director Yugawa. It discusses the sales strategy for the Dreamcast and the commercials aiming to boost sales, featuring Takizawa as a Dreamcast character alongside director Yugawa. On the right side, a profile section details who Hideaki Takizawa is, describing him as a 16-year-old idol from Johnny's Junior Agency. It lists his TV appearances in dramas and variety shows, mentioning his recent roles in shows like News na Ana and I Love Big. At the bottom left, there's news about tickets for the Sakura Taisen Christmas live event, titled Hanagumi Christmas Kiseki no Kane, selling out in just 5 minutes after going on sale. It highlights the high demand and popularity of the Sakura Taisen series. Finally, the bottom right corner announces the release of the Tsubasa sound album for Sakura Taisen. This album includes songs from the Sakura Taisen stage shows and features a special recording of Tsubasagumi Live. It is set to be released on December 18th and priced at 3,150 yen. This page announces the arrival of voice recognition technology for the Dreamcast, showcased in the first title to utilize this feature. Introducing the striking character, Seaman. Seaman is presented as a memorable artificial lifeform character with a human face and fish body that players can communicate with and nurture through voice interaction, promising a unique communication-based simulation experience. The page also highlights Saito Yuka, the game designer behind Tower, a previously successful PC title now being released on Dreamcast, and the screenshot shows a tower building simulation game. Lastly, there is news that Sega Rally 2 Inches has been awarded Best Software, emphasizing the powerful performance of Pentium 2 machines and the high-quality 3D graphics of the game on Dreamcast. This page is a special report on the Dreamcast version of Psychic Force 2012 from a game show event. It highlights a playable demo of the Dreamcast version being showcased at the 17th Gamers Cup National Championship Finals. The article describes the Dreamcast demo as being visually impressive and very close to the arcade version, pleasing the players who tried it. It mentions the inclusion of Golden Feather Emilio as a playable character, a new element for the Dreamcast version. There's also a section featuring an interview with Aoki Yoichi, the director from Taito. Aoki mentions that the Dreamcast version is being developed by a team separate from the arcade team, using the arcade version as a base. He confirms that the development is around 70% complete, and they are focusing on faithfully recreating the arcade experience and adjusting the colors and graphics to look good on home consoles. He names playable characters in the demo as Wendy, Guts, Emilio, Gates, Regina, and Carlo. The next issue preview section announces that the next issue will feature Dreamcast version latest information and a production process interview. This page announces the upcoming debut of Dreamcast. It highlights the Dreamcast Partners Program through a special interview with Kenichi Sato, the team manager from Sega's Dreamcast business department. The interview focuses on the user's perspective and the truth of entertainment. Sato explains that Dreamcast Partners was launched last autumn and has grown to around 15,000 members. The service aims to foster communication between Sega and users. He emphasizes the concept of partnership, with Sega and users working together to create entertainment rather than a hierarchical relationship. Sato also mentions that members receive a membership card, which is now plastic and similar to a gold credit card in quality, and the information magazine GDROM Dreamcast Express 4 times a year, alongside benefits at Sega amusement facilities. He states that new services are planned, and they are considering launching a DreamPoint bank system that will link to points earned when purchasing software. A key takeaway from the interview is Sato's vision for the future, stating that network is the key word. I want to create new entertainment, suggesting a focus on online and connected experiences for the Dreamcast. The next page is promoting the Dreamcast Partners Membership Program and highlights 4 special benefits for joining. Firstly, members receive a Gold Dreamcast Partners membership card. Secondly, they get access to Dreamcast Express, a special GDROM delivered 4 times a year from February, containing trial versions of Dreamcast games and the latest news. This GDROM is described as similar to the popular Sega Saturn CF collection. Thirdly, members receive discounted set tickets for Sega amusement parks Joyopolis and Galbo, a 10% discount on food within the parks, and discounts on hotel accommodations across Japan. Lastly, as a first-time bonus for joining by January 31st, members receive a heavy original Dreamcast Partners keychain. The page also features an interview section discussing the purpose of the partnership, aiming to create a community and gather member feedback. It details how to join the Dreamcast Partners program, outlining 3 methods: purchasing a Dreamcast console, sending a postcard, or applying online. There is an annual membership fee of 5,000 yen. Dreamcast readers voted for their anticipated titles top 30. Grandia 2, a Game Arts RPG, ranked first, generating buzz about its evolved battle system. Sonic Adventure, a Sega action title compatible with VM, came second, surpassing other popular games with high anticipation. Sega Rally 2, a Sega racing game supporting controllers and communication, secured third place, with new details on its modes and network features expected. Other games in the top 30 included Cyber Troopers Virtual On, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Shenmue, D2, Evolution, Mobile Suit Gundam, King of Fighters, Psychic Force 2012, and many more. The weekly pickup section highlighted upcoming titles: Maken X, an action-adventure from Atlas, Shin Megami Tensei Team, Framegride, a From Software vs. Action Robot game, Armored Core creators, and a Konami flight shooting game, possibly Psychic Force 2012. This page presents 2 game ranking charts and highlights 2 upcoming arcade games. The first chart is a Porting Wish Top 20 Inches list, showcasing games readers want to see on the Dreamcast. Topping this list is Virtua Striker 2, version 98, followed by Soul Calibur and Metal Gear Solid. Other games in the top 20 include Final Fantasy series, Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge, Sakura Wars series, Knights, Street Fighter 03, and Fighting Vipers 2. The second chart is a video game income ranking top 15 inches, listing the top earning arcade games. Virtua Striker 2, version 98, is also at the top of this chart, with Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram following closely behind. Street Fighter 03 and the King of Fighters 98 are also listed high in this arcade ranking. The page also features weekly pickup sections for 2 Sega arcade games coming soon. The first is L.A. Machine Guns, a shooting game described as exhilarating and addictive, similar to Gunblade NY, but with improved graphics. The second is Magical Truck Adventure, an action-adventure game for 2 players featuring lever controls and action pedals, designed to be simple and enjoyable even for casual gamers. This Dreamcast release schedule outlines upcoming software and hardware. December 1998 highlights included Sonic Adventure and Tetris 4D. January 1999 featured Sega Rally 2 and Blue Stinger. February 1999 included titles like Pops On Music. March 1999 offered Super Addictive Golf and Cool Borders. August 1999 listed Entertainment Golf and a sumo game. Spring 1999 was planned for Shenmue and Psychic Force 2012. Games with undecided release dates included Seaman, Rayman 2, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, and Grandia 2, among many others across genres like RPGs, action, and sports. Hardware releases included a January 1999 racing controller with a fishing controller, VGA box, rumble pack, and microphone device having undetermined dates. This page is an interview featured in Dreamcast Magazine, celebrating the launch of the Sega Dreamcast on November 27, 1998. It's a dialogue between Isao Okawa, the president of Sega Enterprises, and Kenzo Tsujimoto, the president of Capcom, titled Dream CEO Dialogue Realized. What do you dream of in the new era? Cool. The interview covers topics like the Dreamcast's release, the secrets of new hardware development, the game industry in the 21st century, and the Dreamcast's overall appeal. The article notes Capcom's dedication to the Dreamcast, mentioning their forthcoming release of Resident Evil. A section titled Dreamcast Birth and the Meaning of Three Design Goals is also present. It mentions that Mr. Tsujimoto brought Phoenix wine for the interview, which commenced at 6:30 p.m. This page features an interview with Shoichiro Irimajiri, the representative director executive president of Sega, discussing the Dreamcast. The interview delves into the initial concepts behind the Dreamcast, with Irimajiri explaining that creating the console itself was a significant challenge. He mentions that after consulting with various creators, they established three key objectives, one being to achieve movie-like image expression. Another goal was networking capabilities. Irimajiri highlights the importance of considering how people would enjoy new technologies, and gives examples of how new inventions like cars and airplanes led to new forms of entertainment like driving and overseas travel. He emphasizes that the Dreamcast was a project he was involved with from the very beginning, even more so than the Saturn. This page features a dialogue titled, Dream Collaboration Dialogue Realized, between Ichiro Oba, executive director of Sega, and Kenzo Tsujimoto, president of Capcom. They discussed the Dreamcast and its capabilities, with Tsujimoto emphasizing the console's power to achieve near photorealistic graphics, mentioning that 2D graphics are already near Disney-level quality, and he anticipates 3D graphics approaching reality. He reflects on the evolution of visuals from the early days of Famicom and highlights the Dreamcast's potential. The conversation touches on the Dreamcast's network functionality and user-friendly development environment as key design goals. Resident Evil code. Veronica is mentioned and screenshots from the game are shown, indicating Capcom's excitement for the Dreamcast and its visual capabilities for the upcoming game. Tsujimoto also mentions the long development process and the 3-year effort to create the graphics seen in games like Resident Evil code. Veronica. This page is from a Dreamcast launch commemorative magazine featuring a dialogue between two people discussing the new generation of gaming. They discuss the importance of the arcade feel in games, but highlight that home console gaming needs to offer more than just simulation. They believe games should strive for expressions beyond reality, and cite examples like camera angles and actions not possible in real life, such as mid-air triple jumps, being unique to computer games. The discussion touches on the evolution of industries, comparing the automobile industry's contribution to the 20th century to the potential of software, especially games, in the 21st century. They draw a parallel between the T-Ford and the future of communication networks, suggesting that just as cars revolutionized the 20th century, communication networks will become essential in the future, connecting everyone like highways, connecting homes. Screenshots on the page showcase two Dreamcast games. Virtua Fighter 3TB is featured as a perfect arcade port, bringing the leading-edge arcade experience to the Dreamcast. Sega Rally 2 is also highlighted, emphasizing its new communication battle function, suggesting future possibilities for connected gameplay. Sega and Capcom presidents discussed the future of gaming with a focus on network infrastructure and the Dreamcast. They acknowledged Japan's network infrastructure needed improvement to handle the expected surge of online users with Dreamcast, comparing it to road development. The conversation addressed the decline of arcades due to powerful home consoles and the need to adapt to changing user preferences. They envisioned a convergence of arcade and home experiences, with Dreamcast bridging this gap through its network capabilities and innovative VMU. Reflecting on Saturn's limited network features, they expressed concern about technology outpacing users. Ultimately, they agreed good software remains crucial, and the industry must evolve to accommodate the merging arcade and home console landscape. This page features an interview commemorating the launch of the Dreamcast, discussing the dreams and aspirations for a new generation of gaming. The interview, titled, Now is the Time for Games to Break Free into the Entertainment Industry, features two people, Tsujimoto and Irimajiri. They discuss the evolving landscape of the game industry with the arrival of Dreamcast, covering topics like the relationship between arcade and home console games, the potential of network features, and the aging demographics of gamers. They touch upon Sega's strategy with the Dreamcast, including their approach to license fees for developers, and the direction of the industry as a whole, emphasizing the shift towards a broader entertainment industry. The page also shows a Dreamcast box with an image of one of the interviewees, possibly Yuji Yukawa, on the packaging, highlighting the marketing approach around the Dreamcast launch. This page is focused on a discussion titled, This is the Time, Dreamcast is the game console no one can ignore, featuring a Dream President dialogue realized, a review between Sega's Shoichiro Irimajiri and Capcom's Kenzo Tsujimoto.
The page highlights upcoming Dreamcast titles anticipated from late this year into next year. Games specifically mentioned include Sonic Adventure, which is described as the latest in the Sonic series, with 6 playable characters and varied gameplay, emphasizing the Dreamcast speed and performance. Also previewed is Project Berkeley, working title, which is described as aiming for realistic real-time CG graphics, and is noted as Yu Suzuki's latest work, with more details on page 62. Finally, Biohazard Code Veronica, Resident Evil Code Veronica, is featured as the newest entry in the Biohazard series, boasting impressive visuals that surpass even arcade quality, again highlighting the Dreamcast's graphical prowess. The interview delves into topics such as game development, appealing to creators and business aspects of the gaming industry, and also poses the question, how did Namco say yes? Regarding Dreamcast support, hinting at discussions about securing third-party support for the new console. This page is from a Dreamcast launch commemorative issue and features a dialogue titled, "What do you dream of for the new generation?" It highlights the Dreamcast experience as something like never before, emphasizing individual play rather than team battles. The interview discusses the Dreamcast's capabilities, including network functions and online gaming. The speakers mention that Dreamcast and NAOMI are being prepared, suggesting that the arcade and home console experiences are aligned. The conversation touches upon creating new and innovative games, instead of just relying on sequels, aiming to break existing molds. The page also shows a signed board with a message from Akio Irino, expressing support for the Dreamcast launch. Finally, at the bottom, there's a mention of a presentation on October 6th, where Namco announced their entry into the Dreamcast arena, hinting at future game developments and releases. This page is a feature article from Dreamcast Magazine highlighting a dialogue between the presidents of Sega, Akira Irimajiri, and Capcom, Kenzo Tsujimoto. The article is titled, "Dream President Dialogue Realized," and commemorates a meeting between the two industry leaders. As part of the meeting, both presidents created calligraphy pieces. Tsujimoto wrote, "Ingenuity and Creativity," and Irimajiri wrote, "Play and Communication," along with the Dreamcast logo and signature. Another calligraphy piece features both presidents' signatures with the phrases, "We will do it," Dreamcast, by Tsujimoto, and "Let's do our best," Dreamcast, by Irimajiri. Dated October 28, 1998. The article discusses their views on the gaming industry, emphasizing customer perspective, the importance of creation is life, and the future of network gaming, scheduled to launch in spring. The piece concludes by highlighting the collaborative effort between software and hardware manufacturers to shape the future of the industry, referring to Irimajiri as Prince, and praising his charisma and vision. The interview was recorded at the Nanaman main store on October 28, suggesting a formal and significant occasion. This page is a Dreamcast special report, providing a guide on how to quickly get online with Dream Passport. It explains that Dream Passport is bundled with every Dreamcast and is designed to get users online easily. The guide covers setting up the modem and phone line connections, and shows screenshots of the Dream Passport menu interface, including icons for Drickas, game info, mail, chat, user info, recommended, options, and billing information. The article also highlights the technical specifications of the Dreamcast's built-in modem, mentioning it supports V34, V42, and MNP Class 5 standards, and discusses modem speeds. There's also information about a campaign running until January 20, 1999, and a free connection period for Sega providers from November 27 to December 26. This page is a guide on how to set up the Dream Passport software to get your Dreamcast online. It's a step-by-step guide, starting with checking your phone line to ensure it's compatible, whether it's a tone or pulse line, and if you are using NTT or another provider. It emphasizes reading the terms of use, which are crucial before proceeding, as it's a formal agreement with Sega for network services. The next step involves entering your personal details and account information, which will be used to send your Dream Passport and for prize campaign delivery. Finally, it guides you through the sign-up process, login ID, and server settings configuration. The page highlights that this setup is essential before accessing online services and is a crucial procedure for Dreamcast users. This page details how to use the Dreamcast for internet browsing with Dream Passport. It guides users through the steps from connecting to the internet, navigating through home pages, and using menus with the L trigger. The Game Information button is highlighted as a gateway to Sega's homepage, providing Dreamcast-specific content. The page also explains how to bookmark favorite sites for easy access later, and how to directly input URLs
or use search engines like Yahoo Japan to find specific websites. The final point mentions the potential for slow connection speeds and the heavy or slow nature of browsing at times. Dream Passport facilitated Dreamcast online access, offering easy email setup and IRC chat without extra software. Unlike PCs, users were advised to compose emails offline to save on connection costs and learn chat etiquette. Beyond 120 minutes of connection, prepaid cards like WebMoney, purchasable at partner shops, webmoney.na.jp, were necessary. Developers aimed for a comprehensive home network service, navigating rapid technological advancements. Content expansion was planned with releases like Dream Match, Dream Orchid, and enhanced Dream Keepers, plus online competitive games and internet-based content such as Dreamflyer. Memory capacity for larger content and client-side restrictions for younger users accessing HP content were also being addressed. This page is an announcement for a brand new Dreamcast game called Maken X, an adventure title developed by Atlus and slated for release in 1999. The creators, Okada and Kaneko from Atlus, who are known for the Shin Megami Tensei series, are behind this project. This announcement is described as breaking news on the day of the Dreamcast's release. It's highlighted as an action-adventure game that pushes genre boundaries, promising a completely new generation of gaming with 3D graphics, beautiful visuals, and character designs by Kaneko. The title Maken X is explained as originally intended to be simply Maken, Demon Sword, but X, representing the unknown, was added later. It is said that the X also represents the image of something cut open by a sword and the uncertainty of the unknown, bringing a strong feeling to the title. This page reveals the announcement of Atlus's first Dreamcast title, Maken X, known in Japan as X. This is highlighted as a collaboration between producer Koji Okada and character designer Kazuma Kaneko, both famous for their work at Atlus, especially on the Shin Megami Tensei series. The page emphasizes a powerful launch for the game with bold text and an image of a stylish character designed by Kaneko. The theme of the game is power, explored through various facets such as the source of creation, symbol of destruction, and a means for coercion. The text further elaborates on this, mentioning that power itself is neither good nor evil, and that the player, becoming the powerful demon sword, will use this power for various purposes, including saving a girl, protecting the world, or fulfilling personal desires. The text is presented as being excerpted from the Maken X press release, indicating this is official information about the game. This page is a preview for Maken X, a Dreamcast game where the protagonist is not a person, but a demonic sword called Maken. The core gameplay mechanic is the Brain Jack system. Players, as the Maken sword, can possess various characters encountered in the game to utilize their unique abilities and skills. The screenshots show the demonic sword and some in-game characters. The text highlights that Maken X is an action game with emotional impact and describes the Brainjack system as a key game element, allowing players to inhabit different characters to use their powers. The Kaneko's Check section features comments from a developer, likely about the game's design. He mentions that the sword changes its form depending on the character it brainjacks, and expresses his focus on making the sword feel more mental and less like a simple weapon. He also notes that the sword's pattern changes from black to red as it gets more powerful. The next page focuses on the game Maken X. It introduces the heroine of the game, Kei Sagami, describing her as a cool and collected high school student who attends Jusei Jogakan. The page mentions her father works at a research facility and is involved in the awakening of the magic sword. The story summary details a world facing environmental issues and international tensions, where Kei gets caught up in a conspiracy involving a magic sword project designed to treat mental illness using images. The magic sword is sought after by a mysterious armed group, and Kei is drawn into a battle, ultimately merging with the sword. Kazuma Kaneko's Check section reveals that the game is set in a parallel world, about 5 minutes into the future from the present day, emphasizing its modern setting and the stylish China-inspired school uniform for Kei, and the game's overall design. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Maken X, highlighting how the Dreamcast's capabilities are bringing the distinctive art of Kazuma Kaneko into 3D. Kaneko, known as a cyber demon illustrator and famous for his work on the Shin Megami Tensei series, including Devil Summoner, Goddess Metamorphosis, and Soul Hackers, designed the characters. The article emphasizes that the game uses real-time 3D full polygon graphics to faithfully recreate Kaneko's illustrations, which were traditionally in 2D. It showcases a side-by-side comparison of a 2D illustration and its 3D model in the game, emphasizing the detailed textures and meticulous craftsmanship. The article gets excited about how these characters will move at a smooth 60 frames per second, making Kaneko's unique style come alive on the Dreamcast. The page is titled, "That Kaneko Kazuma Drew." The enemy monsters in the game are shown, and the text expresses anticipation for seeing these characters in action on the game screen. This page highlights the upcoming Dreamcast game, Maken X. The headline emphasizes that the characters are brought to life in 3D. The page showcases in-game screenshots featuring the protagonist, a masked character in a skin-tight suit, adorned with dragon designs, wielding a sword. It also displays enemy characters, one of which is a heavily armed, cyborg-like figure with Nazi-inspired imagery. The Kaneko's check section features comments from Kazuma Kaneko, the character designer. He explains the game's characters are designed to be unique and memorable. He mentions the protagonist is a modified human, a soldier from an evil organization. Kaneko describes the team's approach to character design, expressing a desire to create visually striking figures, using motifs like dragons, bears, and spiders in their costumes. He humorously remarks on the enemy character's design, acknowledging the over-the-top cyborg and Nazi themes, mentioning it might be considered cliché or manga-like, but he personally enjoys these kinds of exaggerated designs. Here, he concludes that the design is still being refined, but is heading in a good direction. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Maken X. It highlights the game's unique brainjack system, where player choices significantly alter the story, leading to multiple scenarios and endings. The narrative begins in Japan and then expands globally, featuring over 15 countries and more than 20 stages, including locations like China, Russia, and Brazil. The article mentions that Maken X incorporates two types of event scenes: subjective viewpoint scenes, which are similar to regular action sequences, and objective viewpoint scenes, which serve to supplement the story. Screenshots show in-game action and examples of these event scenes, including one depicting a mysterious airplane taking off. The game's branching story structure is likened to the Shin Megami Tensei series. This page introduces X, Maken X in English, an upcoming Atlas Dreamcast title developed by the Okada and Kaneko team. The game stage is set all over the world, influencing the design of enemies, who are quite distinctive and match their locations. The preview showcases two enemy characters. One is described as German style, appearing feminine with a bandaged face and a uniform reminiscent of Nazi Germany, complete with symbols. The other is described as Chinese style and powerful, wielding a weapon with Chinese decorations and a mawashi stance, with bear designs on his yellow body and a dragon-like gauntlet. The text highlights that most characters in Maken X will have weapons and unique attacks, emphasizing player skill in evading and countering these attacks. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Maken X, described as a highly anticipated new masterpiece. The article is titled, "The Future 5 Minutes From Now Power," and is part of a 14-page special feature. The introduction section outlines the game's concept, stating it's set in a world where the spiritual realm is proven to exist, just 5 minutes into the future. It is described as having a heavy story and detailed worldview, aiming for realism like the previous title Soul Hackers, but set in a more contemporary near future. The game is set in a parallel world and part of the Megaten series, emphasizing a unique dark worldview that is not overly cliché. The Okada's Check section highlights the realistic sound and visuals of the game, stating that all sound effects are rendered in 3D spatial audio, creating a strong sense of atmosphere. It mentions that both speaker and headphone modes are supported, but recommends using speakers to experience the sound. The text suggests that the sound in this game is more ambitious than previous titles, offering an immersive experience. The page includes screenshots showcasing the 3D polygon graphics at 60 frames per second and the game's atmosphere. The text below the screenshots mentions that these graphics enhance the reality of the game. Another question posed is, what is the Sword Awakening for? Suggesting a key element of the game's narrative revolving around a sword. The phrase, Demon Sword Deus Ex Machina, is also featured. This page introduces Maken X, the first Dreamcast title by the Okada and Kaneko team, with the theme, 3D World Starts Moving. The page showcases character designs and in-game screenshots. It emphasizes the game's unique concept, where you possess the enemy and control their mind, rather than just defeating their physical body. It mentions that newly revealed enemy characters are designed to be impactful. The bottom text boxes talk about the initial enemy characters revealed for the game, designed to be impactful and memorable, with one character described as having a disturbing presence, highlighting the game's unique and somewhat maniacal enemy design approach. This page showcases Make an X for the Dreamcast, emphasizing its new autofocus system. The system is described as a feature that keeps the target in focus during battles in 3D space, allowing for smooth camera movements and creating a sense of immersion. Okada's Check section features a man in sunglasses, seemingly providing commentary on the game. The page highlights battle scenes demonstrating gameplay mechanics, like evading enemy attacks and attacking from behind. It also raises a question about the gauge in the lower left corner of the screen, wondering if it represents health, as game system details are still being finalized. This page showcases a battle scene from Make an X, a Dreamcast game developed by Atlus. The page highlights the game's focus on achieving a realistic sense of combat. The screenshots demonstrate a combat sequence where the player engages multiple enemies. Initially, the player focuses on the enemy to the left, but the text explains that the target automatically switches to the closer enemy on the right after defeating the first one, ensuring continuous action. The lower section of screenshots describes a combat technique to counter enemy attacks. It details how to anticipate an enemy's overhead swing, move to their side, and then strike at their weak point while they are recovering from a missed attack. Another set of images shows how to respond to an enemy's sweeping attack by jumping, maintaining visual focus on the enemy, landing behind them as they miss, and then launching an attack. The page overall gives a glimpse into the combat system of Make an X, emphasizing strategic enemy engagement and tactical maneuvers. This page is an interview with Koji Okada, the producer of the Dreamcast game Make an X. The article highlights that Make an X is a new challenge different from the Megaten series, and was made possible due to the Dreamcast hardware capabilities. The interview discusses the concept and development of Make an X, noting it's not a typical RPG, but rather a real-time system game, where the sword is the main protagonist. Okada mentions the idea of expressing immersion and creating a game where events and stories unfold in real time. The game uses a system where you brainjack enemies, taking over their skills and memories. The combat is focused on the sword and is described as more action-oriented than a traditional RPG. The game is described as having a soul and power theme, differentiating itself from Shin Megami Tensei by being more focused on real-time gameplay. It aims to provide a unique experience by allowing players to experience a world they've never seen before, with action and story unfolding based on player choice, and even includes worldwide locations in the game. The next page is a preview for Max, also known as Make an X internationally, an upcoming sword-fighting action game for the Dreamcast by Atlus. This is highlighted as the first Dreamcast title from Atlus. The page features an interview with character designer Kazuma Kaneko, discussing the game's concept and character design. Kaneko explains that they are moving away from the typical demons and angels seen in their previous works, and focusing on characters derived from humans, emphasizing human traits. The game is being developed in 3Ds, with attention to silhouette and texture to create visually distinct characters. The discussion also touches upon the game's system being designed for replayability beyond just one playthrough. The team is leveraging the Dreamcast's 3D capabilities to create an immersive experience and a unique worldview, distinct from the Shin Megami Tensei series. They are planning around 4050 characters and an estimated 2,030 hours of gameplay per playthrough. The development is using Atlus's own in-house tools. Screenshots showcase the 3D graphics and in-game action, emphasizing the immersive atmosphere of the game. The interview mentions that the game's action and world building are key elements that set it apart, promising a new kind of gaming experience. This page reveals a special feature announcing From Software's entry into Dreamcast development with their new title, FrameGride. It highlights FrameGride as a 3D versus mecha action game scheduled for release in spring 1999. Key features mentioned include versus play and compatibility with the visual memory unit. The page includes screenshots showcasing the mecha action gameplay and an interview with Naoto Jin from Software. In the interview, Jin expresses From Software's confidence in the Dreamcast platform and their excitement to create new experiences for Dreamcast users, emphasizing their commitment to making a compelling title that resonates with players. He mentions past experiences with Sega platforms and the push from Sega, indicating a strong collaboration and anticipation for the game's reception. FrameGride is introduced as From Software's first Dreamcast title,
a combat mecha action game built upon the Armored Core system. Armored Core is explained as a military-themed 3D robot action game focused on customization and multiplayer battles. While sharing Armored Core's core concept, FrameGride diverges significantly. It shifts the setting from military to a sword and magic fantasy world, emphasizing close combat sword fighting with magic-like ranged attacks and potential summon techniques. Visually, FrameGride boasts brighter, more detailed graphics and introduces analog camera control. Systemically, it retains Armored Core elements, but adds new features like ultimate techniques. Screenshots highlight the enhanced visuals and fantasy atmosphere, showcasing building-like structures and sword-centric combat, contrasting with Armored Core's PlayStation gameplay. Mech designs are by Bcraft, also involved in Armored Core.
This page showcases the mech customization system in the Dreamcast game FrameGride. The feature highlights how players can assemble their FrameGride (FG) robots by combining different parts for the head, body, arms, and legs. It explains that parts are ranked as light, medium, or heavy, and parts cannot be swapped between ranks. The page details the weapons available. Swords for close combat as the main weapon. Rifles for mid-range combat but cannot be used at the same time as the sword. Cannons for wide-range attacks similar to grenade launchers, missiles for long-range and high-power barrages, and shields for defense, which can be swapped for knuckles. The control system is described as button-based, assigning weapons to buttons like sword, shoot, and shield, with command inputs for special sword moves and techniques, similar to fighting games but not overly complex. The article shows example mech designs and emphasizes that customization affects not only appearance, but also durability and performance, encouraging players to build a FrameGride that matches their playstyle for victory. The page mentions AC, referencing the Armored Core series for comparison in shield and cannon descriptions. This Dreamcast game from Software features a mana system for mecha customization. Players equip Liberate stones into the mana drive, using 4 slots to modify attributes: earth, water, fire, wind. Add special effects like stat boosts and fields, and activate powerful Liberate Force moves. Parts synthesis allows players to create new parts by combining element spheres and materials dropped by enemies. Rare parts offer enhanced power. The game offers story mode, featuring 4 branching narratives with 10 stages each, filled with regular and boss enemies. Enemy drops and story progression vary based on how bosses are defeated. Clearing story mode unlocks stages for battle mode, playable in single or 2-player modes. The game includes screenshots of combat against weaker Zaco and stronger boss-class enemies, emphasizing story mode's role in preparing players for battle mode challenges. This page is an interview celebrating From Software entering the Dreamcast market. It focuses on their move to the Dreamcast and their upcoming game, FrameGride. The interview discusses From Software's experience and reasons for choosing the Dreamcast, highlighting the enhanced graphical capabilities and polygon power of the console, which allowed them to realize their game ideas, initially tested in RPG prototypes. The interview features key figures from Software, including the representative director, Shin Naotori, and FrameGride producer, Kiyoshi Tozawa. They discuss the design process of FrameGride, mentioning initial concepts resembling Viper from Virtual On, and the evolution towards a unique armored design with back-mounted weaponry. They also touch upon the development challenges and the desire to create a graphically impressive game on the Dreamcast. A product list showcases several of From Software's previously released titles including Kingsfield, Kingsfield 2, Armored Core, Project Phantasma, Armored Core, Master of Arena, Shadow Tower, and Echo Knight, all for the PlayStation platform, alongside release dates and prices in Japanese yen, indicating their history before entering the Dreamcast market with FrameGride. The page emphasizes From Software's reputation for unique atmosphere and taste in their games, and reader evaluations from The Play magazine are noted as highly positive. Screenshots from FrameGride illustrate the game's mech action. This page is a preview of FrameGride, a Dreamcast game from Software. The article features interviews with staff from Software and Bcraft, focusing on the game's development. The developers discuss the game's programming and design aspects, highlighting the improvements possible on the Dreamcast compared to the PlayStation, particularly regarding texture quality and size. They mention that FrameGride will have a different world and feel compared to From Software's previous AC, presumably Armored Core, series, but the system will be similar, making it accessible to Armored Core fans. They also talk about the game's mechanics, like obtaining items by defeating enemies and customizing mecha, and the intention to include story and versus modes. The game features fantasy-style mecha designs, and the developers are aiming to create a visually appealing and enjoyable experience for players, even those unfamiliar with the Armored Core series. The developers featured in the portraits are Kitano Saka, a CG designer, and Saito, a programmer from FromSoftware, alongside Yamada and Izuma from Bcraft, who are responsible for the mecha design. The screenshots show in-game action and concept art illustrating the mecha designs. This page announces two big titles from Konami for the Dreamcast. Under the headline, Fly Konami! Ride Konami! The page focuses on a new flight shooting, temporary name, game from Konami, and includes an interview with Kitaue, the general manager of CS Software Business Division. Kitaue explains that Konami aims to create an original title worthy of the Dreamcast, emphasizing the platform's graphical capabilities. He mentions targeting high school and university students, key Dreamcast users, and aiming to deliver a shooting game that meets the expectations of Konami fans. They are attempting to move away from traditional horizontal scrolling shooters and focus on the exhilarating feeling of flight in this new title. Kitaue states this title has been in development for a considerable time and is not a port or sequel. This page announces two big titles from Konami, focusing on pop-on music for the Dreamcast. The page features an interview discussing Konami's intention to bring arcade-like experiences to home consoles with these titles. It mentions pop-in music and Beat Mania as examples, highlighting the popularity of music simulation games in arcades and their potential on the Dreamcast. The interview discusses the idea of capturing the essence of arcade games for the home market and creating staple software for the Dreamcast as the hardware grows. Screenshots show gameplay of pop-in music with its colorful interface and button prompts, and another game called DNO, which seems to be another rhythm game with a trick danger theme and cartoonish characters, potentially related to what became Dance Dance Revolution. This page is a special report announcing a new Dreamcast game from Konami, titled Flight S, which will be known internationally as Air Force Delta. The tagline for the game is, "The true sky is here." The text describes it as Konami's first original installment in the genre, a 3D simulation shooting game featuring real fighter jets in aerial combat across vast skies. It emphasizes the game's shockingly improved quality compared to previous games in the genre, highlighting Konami's long-cultivated development technology combined with the Dreamcast's hardware power, aiming to revolutionize 3D shooting games. The page features a prominent image of a fighter jet in flight. This page previews Konami's new title, a flight shooting game for the Dreamcast, currently under the working title, Flight Shooting. Konami states this is their first fighter jet-focused game since the 1987 title, Top Gun. The developers mention they have always been interested in 3D games, and the Dreamcast's capabilities were necessary to achieve their vision for realism. The article emphasizes the game's aim to deliver unprecedented realism in 3D flight shooting, setting a new standard and making previous games in the genre seem outdated. The screenshot provided is from an in-development version, and the final game promises even more impressive visuals and realism. The magazine staff who saw the game in motion were reportedly very impressed. The title of the game starts with HO, which is likely to be hypersonic. This page is a preview from Dreamcast Magazine introducing a new Dreamcast title by Konami, focusing on realistic flight combat. The game features the F-14 Tomcat, described as a famous aircraft known from the movie Top Gun, although its real-world situation is explained as being in decline due to the end of the Soviet Union and advancements in technology. The game is highlighted as the world's strongest defense fighter and includes detailed specifications of the F-14 Tomcat, such as its dimensions, engine, speed, range, and weaponry, including Vulcan cannons, Sparrow, and Phoenix missiles. The preview emphasizes the battle system and shooting style controls, aiming to make 3D flight games more accessible and enjoyable for everyone, addressing the common perception that flight simulators are difficult to control. The developers are focusing on recreating the realistic sensation of aerial combat while ensuring intuitive operation using the Dreamcast controller, including analog direction keys and L/R triggers. The cockpit screen battle flow section explains how the game depicts combat from the cockpit view, showing the process of engaging enemy aircraft using the Vulcan cannon and the head-up display, HUD, to track targets. The screenshots illustrate the cockpit view with radar information and targeting systems in action, highlighting the immersive and user-friendly interface. It suggests the game is likely to be Air Force Delta, released internationally as Air Force Delta or Deadly Skies. This page is focused on a flight shooting game and features the Su-34 PLATYPUS, a high-performance Russian fighter bomber. The game seems to be set in a fictional world, described as a battle stage in the sky. The text mentions that the game's setting is based on real-world locations, possibly inspired by American skyscrapers, and emphasizes that players need to be careful not to crash in-game. The game's progression involves clearing multiple missions within a story, maintaining the feel of a shooting game. The scenarios include diverse missions, and the base shown in a screenshot is likely for intermission briefings, though details are still unclear. The article also details the real-world Su-34, highlighting its advanced maneuverability demonstrated at the '89 Paris Air Show, its role as a strike fighter comparable to strategic bombers, and features like a toilet for long missions. Technical specifications of the Su-34 are listed, including its dimensions, engine, speed, combat radius, and armament. This page showcases a Dreamcast special report announcing two big titles from Konami, focusing on the stunning graphics capabilities of the Dreamcast. It highlights a game featuring the F/A-18 Hornet, emphasizing the realistic and detailed visuals. The page praises the high-quality graphics, stating they are unprecedented and almost indistinguishable from movies, pushing the boundaries of 3D games with exceptional realism. It mentions the F/A-18 Hornet as a main fighter of the U.S. Navy, detailing its specifications such as dimensions, engine type, F404GE400X2, speed, Mach 1.8, combat radius, weapons including 20mm cannons and AAM missiles, and a maximum load of 7,000 kilograms. The page also includes screenshots demonstrating the game's ability to render detailed cityscapes even at high speeds, showcasing the impressive visual fidelity achieved on the Dreamcast. This page is a game preview titled Flight Shooting, Tentative, showcasing realistic aerial combat. The feature focuses on the French Rafale fighter jet, highlighting it as a symbol of advanced technology developed domestically in France. It details the Rafale's specifications, such as its size, engine, speed, and armament. The page includes a column discussing the realism of air combat in the game and expectations for the title. It explains that modern aerial warfare involves long-range missiles, transitioning to short-range missile and gun combat. The article hopes the game will accurately recreate realistic air combat maneuvers like high-speed yo-yo, scissors, and jinking. Furthermore, the page lists other aircraft types that will appear in the game, mentioning a wide variety of planes beyond fighter jets, including attack helicopters, bombers, and transport aircraft. The article suggests the game will feature over 30 different aircraft, both friendly and enemy, emphasizing the importance of selecting aircraft based on their capabilities and understanding their performance differences. It mentions stealth bombers like the B-2 Spirit and attack helicopters, such as the AH-64 Apache, as examples of the diverse aircraft featured. The article concludes by expressing anticipation for the game to realistically represent the movements of fighter jets and the true essence of aerial combat. This page is announcing Konami's new music game, Popsen Music, as a Dreamcast title. It is described as a successor to the popular arcade game Beatmania, but simplifies the gameplay to focus purely on button presses instead of DJ-style controls. The game is presented as having a very pop and colorful style, with catchy music and characters that dance when you play. Screenshots show the game in action, showcasing the characters Mary and Rie Chan, and a song called I Really Want to Hurt You. The preview highlights that Pop's music is designed to be easily accessible and fun for everyone, including families and groups of friends, with support for up to 4 players simultaneously. It mentions that despite the pop aesthetic, the game may be slightly more challenging due to the increased number of buttons. The page also references the success of Beatmania, noting its arcade popularity and PlayStation release. Popsen Music is scheduled for release in February with support for a special controller. This page is all about the rhythm game Pop'n Music, highlighting how easy and fun the dance simulation gameplay is. The page explains the game mechanics where players hit buttons matching the color of characters called popcorn as they fall down the screen in time with the music. Successfully hitting the buttons fills a gauge to clear the stage, while mistimed presses decrease it. Screenshots showcase gameplay elements, including characters like Mary and Uncle Jam, scores, and training options. It also mentions rival characters that appear during gameplay to make things more challenging if you play well. The article points out that the Dreamcast version will have original elements not found in the arcade, like extra songs and a training mode. It mentions a unique app and disc concept, implying the Dreamcast version will be enhanced with bonus content. Furthermore, a special controller is announced to be released alongside the game, emphasizing its large buttons for a more authentic arcade experience at home and better multiplayer fun. The page concludes by suggesting that with this special controller, players can truly capture the arcade experience in their homes. This page is a special report announcing the official title of Yu Suzuki's latest work for Dreamcast. The page reveals that Project Berkeley is the working title, and the official title is Shenmue. The page also mentions that this special disc for VF3TB, Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, is worth checking out. The page features artwork of a character and a scene showing the game being conceptualized or drawn. It also states, Shenmue will be released by Sega next spring and the price is yet to be determined. It is noted that this is a free, full reactive eyes entertainment game. This page officially announces the title of Yu Suzuki's latest game, which was previously known as Project Berkeley, temporary name, and is now officially titled Shenmue. The game is described as having a vast stage set in mainland China. The article highlights that Yu Suzuki has been working on this Dreamcast title for 3 years, and it was revealed at the Sega New Challenge Conference 2 on October 6th. The genre was announced as free, full reactive eyes entertainment.
The page also shows an illustration of a mysterious girl character whose name is revealed as Rei Shenfa. Yu Suzuki explains that the concept for Shenmue is a large stage, and that the setting in China was chosen to reflect this grand scale. He mentions using 500 character models to populate this world. He compares the initial impression of the title Shenmue to the Disney movie Mulan, which was released around the same time, suggesting a similar atmosphere. He also touches upon field research he conducted in China in 1994 during the development of Virtua Fighter 2, indicating the deep level of research being put into the game's setting. The page emphasizes that Project Berkeley, temporary name, is now officially Shenmue, and this is a confirmation for all readers.
This page announces a special Dreamcast disc that comes with Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The disc features content related to Project Berkeley, the working title for what is now known as Shenmue. The page details a public presentation event for Shenmue, taking place on December 20, 1998, at Pacifico, Yokohama. The special disc includes about 32 minutes of MPEG-Age, featuring a prologue, comments from Yu Suzuki, and a secret Shenmue image movie. The event will have 3 sessions throughout the day. The article mentions that the Shenmue image movie, although only about 1 minute long, is very impressive and gives a glimpse into the atmosphere of the game, differing from previous information and illustrations, hinting at an adventure game style. Yu Suzuki expresses his hope that even people unfamiliar with games will be interested, comparing it to going to a concert. This page details the announcement of the game Shenmue, previously known as Project Berkeley, with the official title revealed. The announcement event will be held in Yokohama and 5 other major cities across Japan on December 20th. The page explains the application process to attend the event, requiring applications via postcard or FAX, mentioning that invites are by lottery. The event is described as a Shenmue production commemorative presentation, held at the Intercontinental Hotel in Yokohama. It also mentions a film concert-style Shenmue presentation event will be held in 5 major cities. The article talks about the game's content, mentioning that the protagonist and story details are still largely unknown. However, it highlights the newly unveiled image movie, character rough sketches, and unreleased stone statues as points of interest. The music is also emphasized as a crucial element, with a quote from Yu Suzuki stating, "First of all, I created this music." The article also teases in-game items that will be shown at the event, such as cassette tapes, radios, and telephones, suggesting they are more detailed than previous mono items. The writer expresses excitement about seeing Shenmue running on the Dreamcast and encourages readers to apply for the event. This page reveals the opening movie for the Dreamcast game Kita-e is complete. The opening movie is described as showcasing the scenic landscapes of Hokkaido and depicting lively girls within these backgrounds. It's built upon familiar illustrations, blending 3D CG and live-action age to create a melancholic atmosphere. The artwork is supervised by NOCCI to maintain a high level of quality. Key details for Kita-e are listed. Developed by Hudson, categorized as a travel communication game, projected for release in February 1999, price yet to be determined, and designed for 1 player. The article mentions the game aims to capture a grand northern poetic feeling, promising new information soon, and highlighting the game's atmosphere and the dating scenarios with the 8 heroines. It also teases minigames and campaign details. A tagline asks, "If you hear it once, you won't forget it," possibly referring to a memorable theme song included in the game. The page features screenshots of the game's characters. The next page highlights the upcoming game, Kita-e White Illuminations. showcasing its beautiful opening movie which uses high-quality illustrations that stand out from typical anime movies thanks to the Dreamcast's graphical capabilities. It mentions the game will feature 11 vocal tracks, including the opening theme song, with lyrics by Hiroi Uji and music by Ikebukuro.
Performed by the vocal unit 4 Seasons, comprised of voice actresses for the game characters. There's also an exciting event announced called Love Confession to the North, where they're collaborating with Astrovision to display love messages sent in by fans on a big screen in Harajuku. The application period for submitting messages is from November 21st to December 24th, and you can apply via post, through their website, or by mail or fax. They even give examples of messages you can send in, encouraging everyone to participate, regardless of gender.
The next page is a Dreamcast special report about a new game where you communicate with a girl, titled Kita-e, which translates to the North. It's primarily a conversation-focused game with a unique communication break system, or CBS, where interrupting conversations at different points changes the story. The game blends 3D CG characters with real photo backgrounds, aiming for a natural feel. The article mentions the game uses 3D CG for vehicles and items, with the featured car being a faithfully rendered Fiat Barchetta. The page also highlights minigames, stating they are plentiful and important. Success in these minigames can influence the girl's feelings in the main game. 3 minigames are previewed. First up is UFO Catcher, a standard crane game found in amusement centers but branded with the Dreamcast name. The prizes inside are characters from Hudson's Teku Teku Angel series of step-counting games. Next is Guardian Wing, described as a surprisingly serious shooting minigame also found in the amusement center. It seems to be a proper shooter despite being a minigame, encouraging players to aim for high scores. Finally, there is a tennis game, which is not set in an amusement center, but rather playable when visiting Dreamland Princess. It features a heart gauge, suggesting hidden secrets or mechanics related to it beyond just a standard tennis game. The game Kita-e White Illumination introduces 3 main characters set in Hokkaido. Haruno Kotori, the 16-year-old heroine, is a high school student who visits Hokkaido for summer vacation and enjoys sightseeing. Ayu Kawahara, also 16 and a high school student, is Kotori's friend and a lively local from Otaru who enjoys karaoke and whose family runs a sushi restaurant. Megumi Aida, Kotori's 15-year-old cousin, is a middle school student who moved from Tokyo to Hokkaido and knows about the ranch where her father works. The page features character sketches, in-game location images, and dialogue screenshots, showcasing the game's atmosphere and hinting at the story which revolves around meeting these girls during a summer vacation in Hokkaido. This page introduces 3 female characters from a new game that seems to be set in Hokkaido, Japan. First up is Tanya Rabinsky, a 16-year-old Russian girl living in Otaru, known as the Glass City. She's a glass artisan, trying to recreate a specific red glass color called Tsvet Zakata that her father loved. The page shows concept art of her working with glass and sketches of her in Otaru. Next is Rina Tanaka, a 17-year-old high school student from Sapporo. She's described as a bit mysterious and known for cosplaying and enjoying games and computers. She's depicted in a maid outfit and will guide players around Sapporo's famous spots in a car with a driver. Finally, there's Yuko Sakuramachi, a 20-year-old member of the Self-Defense Force. She's portrayed as cheerful and outdoorsy, loving bikes and cameras. She'll take players on a bike trip to Lake Shikotsu and the Chitose Airbase area, showing off the natural beauty and military side of Hokkaido. The page includes concept art of her in her Self-Defense Force uniform and casual wear. The game appears to be a character-driven adventure set in various locations across Hokkaido. This page is about the visual novel adventure game Kita-e White Illumination, which was released only in Japan. It introduces 2 main characters. First is Kaoru Shina, a 24-year-old graduate student at Hokkaido University, who enjoys driving her Fiat Barchetta and reading. She is described as mature and sophisticated. The second character is Hanoka Sakyo, a 17-year-old high school student who works at a ramen shop and wears an eye patch for fashion. She is interested in ramen and has a meeting scheduled at Sapporo Station for research on ramen ingredients, suggesting a storyline element involving ramen. The page also highlights Royce's Kita-e, packaged pure chocolate, indicating related merchandise. Game screenshots are shown throughout the page, featuring both characters in various scenes. This page is a special report on Sonic Adventure, showcasing Knuckles the Echidna. It mentions that the story in Sonic Adventure takes place in ancient ruins, and the narrative is progressing into the middle stages. The article highlights a scene in Mystic Ruins, where Sonic and Tails encounter Knuckles. It states that Knuckles, guardian of the Master Emerald, is a rival to Sonic and questions why Knuckles is challenging Sonic. The release date for Sonic Adventure in Japan is stated as December 23rd, with a price of 5,800 yen and compatibility with the VM. The text also mentions that the game is 4 weeks away from release, and that there will be an interview about Sonic Adventure later in the magazine. The screenshots shown depict gameplay scenes featuring Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. This page focuses on Sonic Adventure, highlighting the Mystic Ruins stage and the introduction of Big the Cat. The page teases the Sonic Pyramid within the Mystic Ruins as the entrance to the action field, set in the Guatemala Tikal ruins. It describes how the entrance will open with a sound. The page then introduces Big the Cat's story within Mystic Ruins, explaining that Big is searching for his lost frog friend, Jared. It mentions that Big's adventure starts in Mystic Ruins, and he is unaware of Eggman's plans. The page also questions the location of Big's house in the jungle, and generally introduces Big as a character who enjoys a relaxed and unique gameplay style in his search for Froggy. Screenshots show Sonic in Mystic Ruins, Knuckles encountering Sonic and Tails, and Big fishing. This page is focused on the Sonic Adventure vocal mini-album, Songs with Attitude. It's an interview with Jun Sinoue from the Sega Sound team, discussing the creation of the theme song for Sonic Adventure. The article highlights that the album will feature 6 vocal songs, and includes vocalists like Johnny Gioeli of Hardline and Tony Harnell of TNT. Jun Sinoue mentions that the intro of Sonic's theme was used in TV commercials in the Kanto and Sendai areas of Japan. He explains the theme song development, mentioning it went through about 9 revisions, starting with a Green Hill image but evolving with the game's visuals and atmosphere. The album, releasing on December 2, 1998, and priced at 2,100 yen, is described as a vocal mini-album from Sonic Adventure, exceeding game music and sound quality. The page also features screenshots from Sonic Adventure and artwork of Big the Cat and Knuckles. This page explores the music of Sonic Adventure, featuring an interview with Sega Sound teams Fumi Kumatani and Kenichi Tokoi. Kumatani notes her personal connection to Amy Rose. The feature details 6 character themes: Sonic's It Doesn't Matter, emphasizing freedom; Amy's energetic pop song My Sweet Passion; Big's relaxed country tune, Lazy Days Livin' in Paradise; Tails' motivational Believe in Myself, sung by a male vocalist; Knuckles' rap-infused Unknown from M.E., reflecting his toughness with humor; and the grand main theme, Open Your Heart, portraying Sonic Adventure's scale. A special episode 2 inches section mentions recording in Los Angeles with a Sonic fan from the band Biohazard. Lastly, the announcement reveals a second original soundtrack will be released next January, succeeding the available Sonic Team Powerplay album. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game, Buggy Heat. It highlights that this off-road racing game will feature destructible terrain and realistic buggy physics, promising a new level of immersion for the genre. The game is set for release in March 1999 and will retail for 5,800 yen. It will support 2-player split-screen multiplayer. The screenshots showcase the intense off-road racing action, with buggies kicking up dust and navigating varied terrains, including an Egyptian-themed level. The text emphasizes the realistic driving feel and the depth of the gameplay, going beyond simple racing and offering a unique experience. This page is showcasing a racing game called Buggy Heat, which allows players to use 3 types of machines in the game. The page details 3 distinct car types available to choose from, each with unique characteristics. First up is the Tricky Diamond, described as a kit car with a rear-wheel drive setup. It's noted for its overwhelmingly small and lightweight chassis and exposed rear engine. Designed by David Terada, mechanic engineer, this car is built for off-road racing, featuring a suspension capable of handling rough terrain. Next is the Avalanche, compatible with FR, front-engine rear-wheel drive configuration. This car is associated with Caroline Myers, high school girl Avalanche. It's described as seemingly ordinary at first glance, but the tires are emphasized as protruding outwards. This design choice is to ensure stability on violently changing road surfaces, making it suitable for off-road driving and equipped with a full lineup of tuning options. Although considered slightly older among vehicle types, it still offers stable performance. Lastly, there is Xiao Longbao, a pickup truck type, also FR, and linked to Shansai Han Chef. This car is described as commonly seen as a pickup truck and emphasizes stability and ease of handling, even for beginners. It's popular for general use and tuning-friendly, making it favored by professionals and suitable for rally racing. It's considered beginner-friendly within the game. The large kanji characters painted on the body are noted, particularly the Risi kanji on the rear, which is said to be impactful. This page is focused on the EGYPT course within a Dreamcast racing game, showcasing 3 distinct zones. The first is the Ruin Zone, which is an off-road area with pyramids and sphinxes, emphasizing speed and excitement amidst ancient ruins. The second section is Driver Training Mode, highlighting a feature where the CPU driver learns from the player's actions, even mimicking driving styles from friends' data for competitive races. The final section, Paved Road, contrasts with the off-road zones, featuring asphalt roads that are surprisingly bumpy and challenging, requiring careful car control, especially with tuned machines. The page emphasizes the buggy racing experience within the EGYPT course and its diverse environments and gameplay modes. The next page showcases the Dreamcast game Buggy Heat, highlighting various courses available in the game. The page details 3 distinct course types: desert, seaside, and ancient ruins. The desert course is described as the main focus, emphasizing its challenging off-road nature reminiscent of the Paris-Dakar Rally. It mentions the difficulty in maintaining direction due to the vastness of the sandy area, encouraging players to find their own routes. The seaside course offers a refreshing change with a coastline setting, mountains, and valleys. It promises the exhilaration of driving a buggy through natural environments. The descriptions mention beautiful scenery and water effects when driving through the waves. Finally, the Ancient Ruins course is inspired by Indiana Jones, featuring underground ancient ruins, magma flows, and fire pillars. This course aims to provide a thrilling and unique racing experience with an athletic course design, including slopes and steps. The page also hints at the possibility of customizing the machines in the game. Overall, the page emphasizes the exhilarating and diverse racing experiences offered by Buggy Heat through its varied course environments. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Aero Dancing, featuring Blue Impulse. The game focuses on acrobatic flight using fighter jets, moving away from traditional combat scenarios, and highlighting the beauty of aerial maneuvers. The preview emphasizes that the game features over 10 types of real aircraft, including the F-2 support fighter, previously known as FSX, a next-generation support fighter jet developed through US-Japan technology collaboration. The game will feature Sky Mission Attack and free flight modes. The article highlights the detailed scenery with dams and complex terrain, and the impressive graphics representing the real-world capabilities of the aircraft. The game is slated for release in February at a price of 5,800 yen and boasts acro flight simulation and 4-player multiplayer. This page is focused on the Blue Impulse aerobatic demonstration team of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force and a Dreamcast game related to them called Blue Impulse. The page showcases the history of the Blue Impulse team and the aircraft they have used, starting with the F-86F Sabre from 1960 to 1982, then the T-2 from 1982 to 1995, and finally the T-4, which they have used from 1996 to the present. Screenshots from the Dreamcast Blue Impulse game are displayed, showing in-game aerial maneuvers and smoke trails, with timestamps indicating different moments of gameplay. The game aims to allow players to experience being part of the Blue Impulse team, performing complex aerial displays. A small section at the bottom promotes the upcoming Air Festival at the Air Self-Defense Force Base, suggesting it will feature Blue Impulse and showcasing photos of crowds at a previous event. The next page focuses on Sega Rally Championship 2, previewing a new course named Muddy. This course is inspired by Indonesian rally stages, featuring a muddy surface and a tropical rainforest setting. The article highlights the technical layout of the course and notes that course conditions, like time of day and weather, will impact gameplay, influencing car settings and tire choices. Screenshots showcase the Muddy course in action with different cars. The game is slated for release on January 14, 1999, priced at 5,800 yen, and will include a versus play mode. The next page introduces a new game mode called 10-Year Championship, which is an original mode for the Dreamcast version of a racing game. It's described as a long-term battle mode where you compete across 40 courses over 10 years, with 4 courses per year. Unlike the arcade mode, this new mode features dynamic changes in weather and time on the same courses, affecting car settings and tire choices. The page highlights how conditions change, showing screenshots of the same course under rain, snow, and sunset conditions. The text emphasizes how grip and visibility will change with these conditions. There's also an announcement for Sega Rally Net Ranking for Sega Touring Car Championship, which is an online ranking system where players in Japan can compete for time attack scores. It is mentioned that even beginners can easily participate, and that details will be in the magazine. It is described as a chance to test your skills. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Godzilla Generations. It highlights the game's core concept of destroying super-realistic cities like Tokyo, Yokohama, Nagoya, and Osaka as Godzilla. Godzilla himself is quoted, saying his family is turning these cities into seas of fire daily. The advert features screenshots showcasing different Godzilla variations, including the original Godzilla, Manila, Mechagodzilla, Heisei Godzilla, and US Godzilla. The game was scheduled for release on November 27th for 5,800 yen, emphasizing the graphical capabilities of the Dreamcast to bring Godzilla's destruction to life. This page is the reader submission section called Guru Powers in Dreamcast Magazine, celebrating the release of the Dreamcast. It features reader comments and discussions. The brother and sister characters are excited about the Dreamcast launch, talking about buying games and the general excitement in Japan. Readers are discussing popular phrases, with mentions of Sagata Sanshiro and Yugemura Toy being contenders for a popular phrase award. One reader asks for game explanations, and there's a comment about a Power Stone character. There are also fun height comparisons between the Dreamcast mascots Dreamchan and Casty. The page includes sections showcasing reader artwork and experiences with the Dreamcast, titled Dreamcast, Interesting Scenery, and Dreamcast, Common Scenery. Finally, there are introductions to the Uzuma siblings and their cat, who are recurring characters in this corner, with personality descriptions and their roles in the magazine section. Guru Communication is a reader submission page featuring various sections. Uzumaki, Visual Memory Utilization, presents reader ideas for Dreamcast visual memory, including using the count function for game actions and player excitement, barcode-based game elements with the barcode reader, and creating/sharing self-made VM games with potential online events and a suggested pedometer feature. Guru Comic contains reader-submitted 4-panel manga, including a Nice-Guerra parody and a comedic pre-burial and post-burial scenario. Illust Garden showcases reader illustrations themed Virtua Fighter 3 TB special feature, displaying characters like Akira and Sarah, celebrating the return of Virtua Fighter and encouraging more submissions. Individual reader comments cover topics like Dreamcast, Monster Rancher, Virtua Fighter characters, and requests for Brian battle games. This page is a reader submission page featuring sections called Girls Chat Corner and Cat's Advice Column. In Girls Chat Corner, a reader from Kanagawa Prefecture asks for advice about male customers who stand and read game magazines in bookstores, and in Cat's Advice Column, there are questions and answers about video game topics in a humorous style using cat puns. Below, there is a Bajadukan section related to Virtua Fighter 3 TB, which is likely referring to Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle. It seems to be showcasing reader submissions and fan content related to Virtua Fighter 3 TB. There are names and locations of contributors like Komura Kazuhito from Tokyo, Kaz from Miyagi Prefecture, Kajuki Maru from Osaka Prefecture, Imaizumi Katsuhiko from Aichi Prefecture, and Naigo from Fukuoka Prefecture, possibly the people who submitted content for the page relating to Virtua Fighter 3 TB. There's an image of a woman labeled VF3 TB, and a grid of character faces at the bottom right, likely from Virtua Fighter. The page encourages reader participation and submissions related to Vent, Slan, and Battlefield Turb, possibly referring to game themes or contests. This page features a reader's corner where fans are writing in. One person is really keen to see DX Jinsei game on the Dreamcast because they met their girlfriend through it, and another wants Panzer Dragoon brought to the Dreamcast, praising its graphics. There's a section called Unconfirmed Information showing screenshots and game titles. We can see Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, and Revelations Persona, which are popular RPG series, Panzer Dragoon Saga, showcasing impressive graphics for the Dreamcast. Also listed are The Ocean Hunter and Black Matrix.
The Natsuge Museum section reviews older games. This time, it's Enemy Zero for the Sega Saturn, praising its amazing graphics and immersive, scary atmosphere with invisible enemies. They also review Yu Yu Hakusho, Sunset Fighters for the Mega Drive, noting it's not just another clone of fighting games, but a well-adjusted and unique fighting game with great character representation. The Notice section talks about a reader corner called Dorikius Getchu Heart, discussing pre-orders and Dreamcast acquisition. They are looking for fun ideas for new corners and encouraging reader submissions. There's also a section explaining how to submit illustrations and text for the magazine, and a list of prize winners from Fukuoka Prefecture who received Dreamcast goods and book coupons.
This page announces the winners of a Dreamcast Magazine prize draw for issue 11/20. There is a list of many different prizes, including a Dreamcast Magazine fan Uchiwa, Pen Pen Triathlon Ice Cream Set, a Sega 2 Feet watch, Godzilla goods, Elemental Gimmick Gear notepads, Akihabara Electric Brain Squad collection figures, Sakura Wars 2 Feet keychain figure Volume 1 set, and Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2 Feet lighters. Other prizes include D-Table 2 Feet dinner plates, Battle Turb t-shirts and telecassettes, Data East sets, Mahjong Academy Festival DX original telecassettes, Find Love official fan club made mousepads and non-sale telecassettes, colorful original CDs, Baroque t-shirts, Kyan Kyan Bunny extras clear files, Grandia Bui plush toys, High School Terra Story clear file sets, Run-A 2 Eternal Blue Teleca, Langrisser 99 calendar fan, and Find Love official fan club. Finally, there is an Idol Group Earth t-shirt and Super Steel Battle Kikayo Okamoto Yoshiki signed panel. The page lists the prize name, and then below a list of winner names and their region. This page is a weekly manga reading plan page, Volume 4, titled Habit Bad, featuring a humorous cartoon about video games and the phrase, "Party is over, Jerry." The page showcases a collection of used books under the theme, Laughter, Nostalgic, Scary, and Super Fun Used Book Collection World. 2 books are highlighted. Tragic Japanese History, a Kappa Books publication focusing on historical deaths and punishments in Japan, authored by Inoue Kazuo and published by Hikari Corporation. It uses illustrations to explain gruesome historical events. The second book is Japanese Monster Encyclopedia, promising scary stories that will keep you awake at night. This book covers various Japanese monsters and supernatural phenomena. Authors for the Monster Encyclopedia include Nakamuto Toshiaki, Ishihara Takashi, Minamimura Koshiji, Yanagi Sawaji, Tamura Moto, Sugio Teruki, and it's published by Nibun Shobo. Life. Finally, there is a section on legendary giant god Ideon Playmo / remodeling method, which is about using a PC-8001 computer and motors to make Ideon plastic models move. It mentions a book called Playmo Remodeling Method by Nibun Shobo, and lists related titles like Computer Program Ideon, Agushi Diorama Shooting Game, and Scratch Hobby Manual. This page is about the collector Mr. Tsuruoka Hosa's collection and interests, focused on unusual books and media. It showcases several book titles he recommends. Super Shocking Cruel Picture Book All Encyclopedia is presented as a collection of shocking movie scenes, featuring genres like zombie, junk, and green hell movies. Japanese Death Penalty History is a book detailing historical execution methods. Secret of True Word Tachikawa Style is an introduction to esoteric sexual practices. Roaring Hanshin Tigers is mentioned as a strange manga. Modern Secrets is described as research into sexual terminology. Karaoke Fortune Telling is a book explaining personality traits based on karaoke artist choices. A section titled Smart Drug Lifestyle Introduction discusses the topic of memory-enhancing drugs. Finally, an article, Reason for Collecting Strange Old Books, explains why Mr. Tsuruoka is drawn to collecting peculiar and often overlooked books. This page is a comic strip titled Sega Game World from Something Yoshimatsu Theater. It humorously depicts a presentation or discussion about the Dreamcast. The comic centers around the concept of dream in relation to the Dreamcast console and its game library. The character is asked about the Dreamcast's appeal and responds by highlighting the diverse range of game genres available, mentioning specifically Sonic Adventure and Pen Pen Tri-Isolon. The overall tone is lighthearted and emphasizes the aspirational nature of the Dreamcast. This page is showcasing Dreamcast games that are now on sale from November 27th. Celebrating the Dreamcast release, it highlights 4 games available today. Firstly, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, emphasizing its fresh and impactful gameplay. Secondly, 7th Cross Evolution, originally known as July, hinting at its violent content and the approaching end of the 20th century. Thirdly, Godzilla Generations, with the tagline, Destructive Godly Light, Burn Everything. Also known internationally as Godzilla Generations, Maximum Impact. Finally, Pen Pen Triicelon, advertised with a playful description of sliding, swimming, and chasing in a chaotic battle. The advertisement encourages players to experience the charm of these Dreamcast titles. This page introduces the DreamPoint Bank service for Dreamcast owners, a loyalty program where buying software earns you points redeemable for prizes. To participate, you first purchase a Dreamcast console and then register either via phone, postcard, or internet to receive your DreamPoint card, which will arrive in about 3 weeks. Every Dreamcast software purchase adds points to your account. There's a special campaign running from November 27th to February 28th, 1999, called the DreamPoint Bank Start Campaign, where buying and registering at least 5 out of 9 specified year-end release titles will earn you bonus points. The page also highlights a range of Dreamcast peripherals launching on November 27th, including the arcade stick, Dreamcast keyboard, stereo AV cable, terminal cable, modular cable, and VGA box. These accessories are presented as essential for enhancing the Dreamcast gaming experience. This page is dedicated to Virtua Fighter 3 TB on Dreamcast, detailing the Dreamcast version of the game, which was released on November 27th. It's a comprehensive guide covering everything about Virtua Fighter 3 TB, including command inputs and usage guides for the character Dural. The page also features technical lectures for intermediate and advanced players, offering match techniques. A key section is dedicated to strategies for all 12 characters, providing tips on how to defeat each opponent. Characters mentioned include Akira, Pai, Lao, Wolf, Jeffrey, Sarah, Jackie, Shundai, Lion, Akoi, Cage, and Dural. Finally, it mentions a permanent preservation edition featuring a complete technique list for all characters. Dural, the final boss of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, can be unlocked in training mode by pressing Start plus X plus A or Start plus Y plus A at the character select screen, choosing Golden or Silver Dural respectively. Dural is highlighted as a powerful and adaptable character, further enhanced in VF3TB, with a wider range of moves. The page showcases several of Dural's special techniques with button commands, including Combo Elbow Summer, PP, right pointing arrow P plus K, Shadow Blade, left pointing arrow plus P, and Shoulder Tackle, right pointing arrow P plus K. Despite having a profile, most of Dural's details, like country and birthday, are unknown. In CPU battles, Dural's described as an aggressive opponent who uses strong techniques, particularly the Combo Elbow Summer, solidifying her status as a formidable final boss. This page is a detailed move guide for Dural in Virtua Fighter 3 TB. It focuses on advanced techniques and combos for Dural users. The page highlights 2 key skills, Kirari and Hikaru 2 skills, which involves using the Shadow Maru's strongest weapon, the Enma Otoshi, and a knee attack to launch opponents. It describes this as essential for mastering Dural. The guide further breaks down techniques into difficulty levels, from easier to harder. Arrow. EX.1 shows a knee kick combo, EX.2 focuses on the Shadow Blade and knee attack, and EX.3 details the Shadow Extend technique involving throws and quick dashes. The page also includes a move list table, detailing various moves with their commands, attack attributes, and associated characters. This table appears to list a comprehensive set of moves for different characters, not just Dural, but is focused on demonstrating moves and combos within the context of Dural's gameplay. It seems to provide a general overview of combat techniques applicable in Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The next page is an advanced technique guide aimed at intermediate to advanced players for a fighting game, which looks like Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, VF3TB, on Dreamcast. The guide focuses on hit and guard situations in Lesson 1 and throw escapes in Lesson 2, explaining how to read the situation, understand the advantage or disadvantage after a hit or guard, and how to improve your win rate by mastering throw escapes. Lesson 1 is about understanding advantageous and disadvantageous situations after a hit or guard. It explains that hitting an opponent is generally advantageous, while being guarded puts you at a disadvantage. It then delves into different scenarios, like guarding big moves, small moves, and normal hits and counter hits, and what actions to take in each scenario. Lesson 2 focuses on throw escapes, which are not just about escaping throws, but also about reading the opponent's throw attempts. It details how to escape throws by inputting throw escape commands at the right timing, especially when anticipating a throw after guarding an attack. It even describes an escape guard throw escape, which involves guarding and then inputting a throw escape command rapidly. The page also lists key secret techniques for the Dreamcast version of VF3TB. These include hidden poses for Jackie and Kagemaru, gold Tyran for Kagemaru, alphabetical character selection, command display mode, new Iron Mountain throw for Shuro, flying scattered fire for Jackie, Snowdoll stage secret, and Galaxy Railroad stage secret involving Jeffrey. This page is part of a Virtua Fighter 3TB Intermediate Player Guide focusing on advanced combat techniques. Lesson 3 is about mastering extra combos that are situation dependent, including wall combos, simulation combos for high ground differences, character-specific combos, and character-specific anti-throw combos. Examples of combos for Jeffrey, Akira, Wolf, and Sarah are provided with move names. Lesson 4 covers special movement techniques using the E button, essential for experienced players, detailing techniques like guaranteed tech, step-down back warp, Neo-Taiwan step for side evasion, and Korean step for diagonal movement. Lesson 5 explains a key technique in Virtua Fighter 3TB called back grab pattern, which emphasizes getting behind a downed opponent and using specific techniques for back grabs, showing examples for Jeffrey and a universal movement-based back grab strategy. Part 3 of the guide will move on to character-specific strategies for all 12 characters. This page is a strategy guide focused on how to fight against the character Akira Yuki, likely from the Virtua Fighter series. It highlights that close-range combat against Akira should be avoided. The guide breaks down several of Akira's key moves, such as Ryumon Chochu, Dragon Gate Top Elbow, Moko Koen Hozan, Fierce Tiger Crouching Straddle Mountain, and Kaiho Opening Release, detailing their properties like attack level, damage, and speed of execution. It provides advice on how to counter Akira's attacks, suggesting defensive tactics and counterattacks after blocking specific moves. The guide emphasizes understanding Akira's throw escapes. There is a table listing various throws by Akira and how to counter them, or if they are unescapable. The weekly Pick Up Extra Combo section introduces a powerful combo, starting with Kaiho, Opening Release, into Right Elbow, then Tesanko, Iron Mountain Fall, and finishing with Kosogeki, Tiger Cannon Strike. Finally, the back grab pattern section explains how to execute a back grab after the opponent uses Shishiko Hogetsu, Lion Child Embracing Moon, detailing the steps involving dashing, escaping to the head direction, and then executing a back grab for a follow-up combo including Shuro Kyorao Hokazan. This page is a strategy guide for Virtua Fighter 3TB focusing on tactics to use against the character Kagemaru. It highlights moves to be cautious of, like the shoulder strike and spinning heel kick. The guide provides advice on how to counter Kagemaru's attacks, suggesting standing guard as a base strategy and using strikes when Kagemaru uses strikes. It details specific counterattack moves, such as the scattering bullet windmill reversal, reverse water wheel, and ground crawl. The extra combo section introduces a powerful air combo that covers significant distance, starting from a roll and leading into a throw. The back pattern section describes a combo sequence after successfully hitting the dragon tail kick, suggesting following up with a half moon kick and then a rock splitter technique. Finally, there is a table listing Kagemaru's throw escape techniques. The next page provides a strategy guide for Pai Chan in Virtua Fighter 3. It highlights her speed and emphasizes exploiting openings in the opponent's defense. The page details specific moves like Raikushao, Senchu Taihao, and Taiturin's Senpukyaku, explaining their properties, damage, and execution. There's a section on counterattacking against Pai, suggesting guarding low and countering with throws. A weekly extra combo section features an advanced combo starting with Senchu Taihao and incorporating Saoshi Suha and Renkin Tenshin Senpukyaku. The page also lists throw escapes and their commands. Finally, there is a section explaining back-turning patterns and how to use throws effectively when the opponent's back is turned. This page is a Virtua Fighter 3 TB Perfect Practical Guide focused on strategies to defeat Lao Chan. It highlights exploiting gaps in Lako's combo attacks, suggesting counterattacks after guarding certain techniques. Key moves like the Phoenix Spear Palm, Swallow Palm, and Ground Sweeping Leg are discussed with tendencies and countermeasures explained for moves like Phoenix Spear Palm, Flying Swallow Body Shift Palm, and Leg Climbing Back Spin Kick. The guide advises that evading is more advantageous than simply guarding against Lapan's attacks. There is a table of Lapan's throw escape techniques and a discussion about the risks involved in using throws. The page concludes with an extra combo for this week and a back take pattern strategy. This page is a strategy guide focused on how to fight against the character Wolf Hawkfield in the game Fighting Vipers 2. It breaks down Wolf's fighting style, highlighting his strengths and weaknesses in combat. The guide details specific moves like the short shoulder, screwdriver rehart, and elbow bat, giving ratings for their damage and speed. It offers advice on countering Wolf's attacks and strategies, suggesting moves like knee blast, comet hook, facelift kick, and grizzly ricart as counter options. Example combos are shown, such as short shoulder, followed by 1, 2 upper, and double claw, or short shoulder into straight hammer and then drop kick. The guide also explains a back face pattern strategy, utilizing the side suplex and evading the elbow drop. Finally, it includes a section summarizing Wolf's throw break techniques, detailing the command inputs for breaking each of his throws. This Virtua Fighter 3 TB strategy guide focuses on defeating Jeffrey McWild. It advises maintaining distance to better guard against his powerful moves, creating counterattack opportunities using near attacks. While caution is key, being overly defensive is discouraged to avoid being pushed to the ring edge. The guide details specific Jeffrey moves, like the mid-level Kenka Upper, Caution A, 30 damage, 17 frames, the quick knee push, Caution S, 22 damage, 12 frames, and the dash elbow upper, Caution A, 19 plus 19 damage, 12 frames, noting their properties and counterattack possibilities. It provides example combos and lists Jeffrey's throw escape techniques, mostly using P plus G, while highlighting unescapable throws like Coconut Crush and Backbreaker. The next page is a strategy guide focused on Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter to help players fight against her. It details her combination attacks, particularly her kick-based combos, emphasizing that guarding the second or third hit allows for counterattacks, but delayed attacks can be tricky. The page highlights key moves like the double joint butt, a mid-level attack with good damage, and the swerve low kick, effective for controlling the opponent at mid-range. The flash piston punch is also mentioned as a powerful high-level attack. Counter strategies are provided, suggesting moves to use after guarding Sarah's attacks, such as the jackknife side kick, rising knee double, and rose spin kick, each effective in different situations. There's also a section on extra combos, featuring the rising knee combo somersault kick and neck hang flash piston punch combo somersault kick. Finally, the page explains Sarah's throw techniques, mentioning that her lightning knee smash is a powerful throw that cannot be countered, and that using the P plus G input guarantees a horizontal throw. This page is a Virtua Fighter 3 TB strategy guide focusing on playing as Jackie Bryant. It is part of a series titled Perfect Practical Guide. The page is dedicated to anti-Jackie battle tactics, offering advice on how to fight effectively as Jackie. It details several of Jackie's moves, like the elbow spin kick, low kick, and beat and back knuckle, highlighting their properties and usage. It also covers counterattacks after guarding, and advanced techniques like combos and back-facing tactics.
A table at the bottom right lists Jack Mimi's throw escape techniques.
The guide emphasizes understanding Jack Mi's strengths to utilize him effectively in battles. This page focuses on strategies for defeating Shun Di in Virtua Fighter 3. It highlights that Shun Di's attacks have significant openings, making it crucial to exploit close-range combat. The page advises against carelessly attacking, as Shun Di can punish predictable moves. It emphasizes reacting to Shun Di's moves with counters like the side stamp kick after guarding. Specific techniques are analyzed with counter strategies. For example, the Kikoku Sasashu is an attack that can be countered with throws if the opponent's sake gauge is low. The Gotenrai Kyaku is a mid-level attack that can be evaded and punished. The Kyosenpu Kyaku is a low attack requiring a crouching guard, followed by a counter. The Korinkantai needs to be guarded high and can be followed up with a counter. The Extra Combo of the Week section showcases a combo involving the Gitsugage Kiken, Moonfang Scythe Flash, and Goyu Hosenten, 5 Lake Immortals Palm Heaven Turn, into a Renkin Zenkai Kyakushu, linked ring complete turn leg sweep. The page also details back grab patterns and throw escape techniques, including a table listing various throws and escape commands for Shundai. It specifically calls out the rolling throw escape as essential to master, and highlights the flying wheel angle throw escape as a determined technique. This strategy guide for Virtua Fighter 3TB details how to effectively fight Lion Rafale. It emphasizes avoiding Lion's powerful down attacks through guarding and strategic positioning. After guarding, players can counter moves like falling impact palm strike and penetrating body blow. Escaping Lion's attacks can be challenging, particularly the spring kick, where crouching is advised. Crouching also helps evade second hits of some attacks. A combo example is given, starting with blade leg thrust into leaping ascending body blow. Lion's upper-level throws are escapable with P+G, including throws like downward falling throw autumn wind. Be wary of throws such as mountain climbing foot sweep and sticking body double palm, especially near ring outs. Lion is dangerous at the ring edge due to throws like kneeling wheel fall, but can be countered with throws like acquisition bomb. Overall, the guide provides tactical insights and move analysis for strategizing against Lion. This page is a strategy guide focusing on the character Aoi Umeno Koji from Virtua Fighter, likely Virtua Fighter 3, providing tactics and move breakdowns. The guide highlights that Aoi's down attacks are her greatest strength and offers advice on how to fight against her. Sections detail specific moves like the middle kick, peerless break, and continuous rushing wheel, outlining their properties and usage. Counter strategies against Aoi are also presented, recommending moves like the horizontal strong elbow strike, cloud kick, and grass mower to exploit openings and weaknesses. An extra combo of the week is showcased using the sleeve extension sword and grass mower moves. A back grab pattern is also explained using grass mower to set up a down cloud kick. Finally, the page includes a summary of Aoi's throw escape techniques, emphasizing that many throws can be escaped with the standard throw escape command, and mentioning that her small strike throw is unescapable when grabbing from the side. This strategy guide focuses on defeating Takarashi in Virtua Fighter 3TB, a formidable opponent known for powerful mid-level attacks and throws. Close combat against Takarashi is dangerous due to these moves, which can inflict significant damage. The guide advises maintaining a mid-range distance and utilizing double palm strikes and shoulder barges. Guarding and immediately countering with punches or throws is recommended after blocking his attacks. Predictable low attacks from mid-range should be avoided. Specific moves like the double palm strike, middle palm strike, and rock avalanche press are analyzed with damage and timing details. An example combo, starting with the cat deception into a double palm strike and a 4-direction stomp, is presented. The guide also outlines a back take pattern, initiating with an upper throw, followed by a shoulder barge. Crucially, it includes a table of Takarashi's throw escape techniques, emphasizing their importance in mitigating damage from his throw-based offense. Mastering throw escapes is highlighted as essential to surviving Takarashi's powerful combos. This page is a character command list for Virtua Fighter 3TB. It features Akira Yuki and Kagemaru, detailing their move names, commands, attack properties, damage, and notes for each move in Japanese. It's essentially a guide to help players learn the moves for these characters in the game. This page showcases character command lists for Virtua Fighter 3TB. The content section highlights all 12 playable characters: Akira, Kage, Pai, Lao, Wolf, Jeffrey, Sarah, Jackie, Shun, Lion, Aoi, and Takarashi. The page provides detailed move lists, specifically for Pai-chan and Lao-chan, outlining commands, attack attributes, and damage values. Each character section concludes with a one-point tip, offering gameplay advice. This page showcases command lists for Virtua Fighter 3TB, detailing moves for the characters Wolf Hawkfield and Jeffrey McWild. It appears to be a guide for players, listing various attacks and their corresponding button inputs and damage values. The page is likely aimed at helping players master these characters within the game. This page is a command list for the game Virtua Fighter 3TB, showcasing moves for the characters Sarah Bryant and Jackie Bryant. It lists various attack names, commands, attack properties, damage values, and notes for each character's moves. There is also a one-point section that describes the Flash Piston Punch combination move. This page is a command list for Virtua Fighter 3TH, detailing movesets for the characters Shun Di and Lion Raphael. The page is structured as a table, showing the move names, commands, attack attributes, damage, and notes for each character. It appears to be a gameplay guide or reference page. The next page showcases a command list for Virtua Fighter 3TB, focusing on the characters Aoi Umenokoji and Takarashi. For each character, detailed move lists are provided, outlining the commands, attack properties, damage values, and additional notes for various techniques. Furthermore, one-point sections offer gameplay advice specifically related to throws and command inputs, enhancing player understanding of these characters' fighting styles within Virtua Fighter 3TB. This page introduces the cinematic suspense adventure game July, advertised as a end-of-century cinematic suspense. It highlights that players can experience the end of the century right now in July 1999, when mankind's extinction is rumored. The game, priced at 5,800 yen, is for one player and was on sale from November 27th. The page details the two main protagonists, Joshua, who possesses immortal cells and was subjected to human experiments, and Takamura Makoto, who lost his sister in a bus bombing incident in England 6 years prior. The story involves a bus bombing incident and the mysterious NAX group. Screenshots depict dialogue and scenes from the game, and character profiles provide more background on Joshua's sexless body and Makoto's family tragedy. The game appears to be a suspenseful narrative centered around revenge and conspiracy, with ratings indicating elements of evil dreams, enthusiasm, hot-bloodedness, and adult themes. This page details the game July, an adventure title where a maximum of 150 characters appear. The game centers around Mother Carmine, described as a charismatic figure, and Ingots Madonna, and her organization Nax Group, which operates in the Tokyo Bay Area. It mentions she is 16 years old and has 8 million followers. The game features a global screen where you can encounter all 150 characters, each with their own life and profile that includes ID, name, age, and affiliations. You can check their profiles and relationships. The story is divided into 18 days, and clearing each day lets you see a summary of events. The page highlights the game's setting in July 1999, mentioning a TV reporter will make a guest appearance, adding realism to the game's world, which mixes real-world settings with fictional elements. It also touches on the game's deeper story aspects, suggesting sub-stories and intricate character relationships that unfold as you progress. An interview with 45's producer, Subakura Noriyuki, reveals the game uses DNA and self-destructing gene concepts in its story, aiming to create a mature and detailed game world. He mentions that the game lets you explore sub-stories and side narratives beyond the main plot, offering a rich and complex gameplay experience. The NAX group is described as a powerful corporate group led by Jean-Rive, a wealthy and influential figure. The next page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game, Godzilla Generations. It highlights the game's release on November 27th and features different generations of Godzilla. The game is an action title priced at 5,800 yen and supports 1 to 4 players. It mentions that 2 to 4 players can play in Atsumete Coliseum mode. The advert focuses on selecting a Godzilla from different eras, mentioning the original 1954 Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla, 1985, and Mechagodzilla, 1974. Each Godzilla version is described with its unique special move. The original Godzilla has no special move. Heisei Godzilla has the Hyper Heat Ray, and Mechagodzilla utilizes a Missile and Destruction Ray. The page includes ratings for the game, giving it 5 stars for name recognition, weight feeling, excitement, and nostalgia. The text describes the gameplay as allowing players to control various Godzilla's signature moves from the Heisei era and beyond, emphasizing the destructive power and the ability to clear stages with different monsters. It also mentions that clearing the game reveals new monsters, including the 1954 Godzilla, which old fans will recognize. This page is all about Godzilla Generations for Dreamcast, and focuses on the Osaka stage, which is Area 2. It mentions that after Fukuoka and Umeda, Osaka is the next battleground. The goal in the Osaka area is to destroy Osaka Castle and other city objects, but mainly the castle, aiming for 100% destruction to earn the title Destruction God. The page describes Osaka as a unique stage, because the only significant destructible objects are buildings related to the castle. It highlights that enemies in Osaka are located in the west, central, and southeast areas of the map, being a mix of tanks and aerial units. The article advises using guard actions with the B button and tail sweeps for combat. It also suggests using the Y button to recover health if your life is low. The next stage, after Osaka, is revealed to be Nagoya, described as the setting for the film Godzilla vs. Mothra, released in 1992. Nagoya is divided into two areas, the TV tower area and the industrial zone.
The article suggests that Nagoya will be even more dynamic than Fukuoka and Osaka. The page also introduces a Coliseum mode, where you can collect dot art and 3D polygon versions of monsters. Winning battles in this mode allows you to obtain DNA to evolve your monsters. The evolution process is shown on a virtual TV monitor with both polygon and dot art representations. Achieving 20 consecutive wins unlocks the 35th monster character, Dagahara.
The next page showcases Pen Pen Triathlon, an action racing game described as a penguin obstacle race. It's presented as a unique racing experience, where players control penguin-like characters. The page highlights several gameplay aspects. One section emphasizes the speed and excitement of the game, while another focuses on the freedom of swimming and the refreshing feeling it provides. Another part mentions the ability to interfere with other players, suggesting a competitive and chaotic element. A stroke, a little good story section gives gameplay advice, focusing on button timing for acceleration, suggesting that mastering the rhythm of button presses is key to boosting speed. The game is advertised as being on sale from November 27th for 5,800 yen. It's categorized as a race action game and supports 4-player simultaneous play. Review scores are also present, indicating positive reception with 4 or 5 stars in different categories like Hacha Machado, outrageousness level, Nori Norido, excitability level, and Dare Demo OKDO, anyone can play level. The advertisement also mentions general entertainment as a genre. This page previews the Dreamcast game Pen Pen Triathlon, showcasing 4 of its courses: Sweet Course, Unexplored Course, Toy Course, and Horror Course. Sweet Course is described as having changing time zones and a fantastical Area 4. Its main gimmicks include Cream Puff Hill, where players must dodge rolling cream puffs, and Mogutan, mole-like characters that can cause time loss if hit near dash zones. Unexplored Course is a nature-filled course with frozen streams and caves. It features Kraken's Bed, where a kraken blocks the path, offering a risky dash zone shortcut through its neck, and Nauman's Elephant, large characters in Area 4 that can be used as jump platforms. Toy Course is a flashy, gimmick-heavy course filled with colorful toys, making it challenging. Its main features are the building block Big Clock, requiring players to time their passage under its pendulum while avoiding pop-up springboards, and Block Soldiers, stationary enemies guarding an uphill climb, with a Block King at the summit. Horror Course offers a slightly scary experience, with blood pools and ghost house elements. Halloween Road features icy ditches for bobsleigh-style sliding with high-speed zones, but warns of course outs. Ghosts are pickup characters that stick to racers, slowing them down until they are bumped onto another player. This page is an advertisement for The House of the Dead 2, a 3D horror shooting game set to bring terror back to amusement centers across Japan. The ad announces a campaign starting December 1st, where 2,000 people can win an original mobile phone accessory. It also directs readers to Sega's Entertainment Universe website for more amusement information. This article focuses on the music of the Sega Saturn RPG Grandia and its memorial package. An interview with a composer reveals the development team sought diverse musical styles, not just famous names, for the game. They aimed for orchestral pieces, layering sounds to build atmosphere, exemplified by the Palmtown theme, which took over half a year to refine. Readers are invited to share their experiences with Grandia's music. The article profiles Nagano Ken Matsumoto, known for his work on Grandia, Langrisser, and Tokyo Disneyland. A lecture section on RPG music composition stresses understanding the game world setting before composing, utilizing visuals and developer discussions to capture the game's essence musically. Further sections include an introduction to the SONY PCM 3348 studio recording equipment and a photo of a child enjoying video games. This page is a column titled Black Ore by Fumio Kurokawa, a self-proclaimed burning publicist. Kurokawa discusses his thoughts on the Dreamcast launch. He reflects on his initial low expectations, but now finds himself writing a weekly column about it.
He talks about the initial sales of Dreamcast software being sluggish, and worries if the console can create a new dream for the gaming market. He recalls comments from Nintendo's Yamauchi about bad software destroying the market, and notes the current market trend of plug-and-play. He mentions popular games like Dragon Quest Monsters and Pokémon as examples of successful titles, contrasting the Dreamcast situation with the PlayStation and Saturn markets. Kurokawa also references his past work on the Virtua Fighter series and Sega AM2, mentioning the Yugawa Senmu, Tatsuyuki Yugawa, commercials. He concludes by questioning what dreams the Dreamcast can bring, and seeks reader feedback for his column.
This page is an advertisement for the Puyo Puyo and Madu Monogatari card collection, a trading card game released on July 23rd. It boasts over 120 different types of cards, including character cards, event cards, large illustration cards, standard illustration cards, and special cards. A pack of 10 cards is priced at 300 yen, and a box of 15 packs is 4,500 yen. The advert suggests that if you don't buy these cards, you are not a true Puyo Puyo Mania fan. The next page showcases the Definitely Safe official guide series for Sega Saturn games. It advertises official strategy guides for 3 titles. First, for Dragon Force 2, The Fated Land 2, an in-depth guide for this popular Sega Saturn simulation RPG, covering tactics, characters, items, and more. The second guide is for Shining Force 2I, Scenario 2, 2I2, offering complete map data and essential user information for this simulation RPG. Lastly, there's a guide for Meltrian's Reinforce, Sega Saturn version, detailing changes from previous versions, new elements, voice actor interviews, and including special trading cards. Each guide is priced and specifies page count and size, with Meltrian's Reinforce being full color. This page is an advertisement for Perfect Guide strategy books, highlighting 2 specific titles. The first is a guide for Super Robot Wars, which features a variety of mecha anime series including Evangelion, Ideon, Mazinger Z, Getter Robo, and Daytarn 3, promising a complete strategy guide for fans. The second guide is for Mobile Suit Gundam, Girin's Ambition, offering a perfect guide to this strategy game. Both guides are advertised as comprehensive resources to help players fully conquer these games, including maps, event introductions, character details, and more. This page is advertising the website GameSpot Japan, an internet game information magazine from ZDNet Japan. It highlights the latest information on the game industry available daily for free. The site features news sections covering Dreamcast's latest information, PlayStation titles shown on PDA, and the handheld console wars between Game Boy, Neo Geo Pocket, and WonderSwan. There's an events section reporting on big game events like Tokyo Game Show, promising fast news online. A column section features a writer deeply knowledgeable about Japanese games and their history. The special section includes in-depth articles and interviews with game creators, offering unique information. Finally, a link section connects to around 300 Game Maker homepages for easy browsing. This page is an advertisement for 2 publications. The first is Cat Shit 1 Volume 1, a manga by Motofumi Kobayashi, priced at 950 yen. It's described as a Vietnam War comic series featuring rabbits and cats, originally serialized in Monthly Combat Magazine, and now compiled into a book. The second publication is Web Comics Volume 1, an anthology of digital comics available online, priced at 1,200 yen. It's presented as a collection of CG comics from professional artists, including Kiya Asamiya, Yoshiki Takaya, Kamui Fujiwara, Shunji Suzuki, Motofumi Kobayashi, Miruku Morizono, Tsuguo Okazaki, Motu Koyama, Masako Kimiya, D. Suzuki, and Kazune Bugai, and is associated with CG Art Gallery. Both publications are from SoftBank. This page is an answer postcard questionnaire for Dreamcast Magazine readers. It includes instructions on how to fill out the questionnaire and examples of correct answers. The questionnaire asks for demographic information like gender, age, school, and occupation. It also asks about frequently read magazines, Dreamcast purchase plans, reasons for buying a Dreamcast, how the reader learned about Dreamcast, and opinions on the magazine's cover. There are lists of hardware including Dreamcast and Sega Saturn consoles, peripherals like controllers, memory cards, and modems. There are software lists for both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn, mentioning titles such as Sonic Adventure, D2, Daytona USA 2001, Grandia 2, Shenmue, listed as Project Berkeley, Panzer Dragoon, Virtua Fighter, and Sakura Wars. Finally, there's a list of articles featured in this month's issue of Dreamcast Magazine. This page is an advertisement for Gateway Computers in Japan, promoting their Yourware Christmas special sets. 2 computer bundles are highlighted: the G6400CS desktop set and the Gateway Solo 2500 SECS laptop set, both limited to 1,000 units. The ad emphasizes using these computers to create Christmas and New Year's cards with bundled software and a color printer. The campaign runs from November 20th to December 31st, offering these computers with DVD-ROM drives. Pricing and monthly payment options are listed, along with contact details for Gateway Japan. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Pen Pen Tri-Isolon. The image is a vibrant and energetic scene of many people sliding on ice. Some are smiling and laughing, including a businessman, a police officer, and various others. The text highlights the game as a slapstick ice race, promising fun and addictive gameplay, emphasizing its humorous nature. It's described as a game where everyone rushes ahead on ice. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Pooparun Marine Adventure. It highlights the game's title in large pink lettering alongside blurred images of a man and woman. The advert details the game's release date as November 27th, a price of 5,800 yen, and that it comes on a single GD-ROM disc. It also mentions it supports 1 to 4 players and is suitable for all ages. This page is an advertisement for the book Making of Red Company, a publication that explores the history of the game development company Red Company. The book will delve into Red Company's past, covering their work on popular game series including Super Machine Hero Wataru, the Tengai Makyo series, and the Sakura Wars series. The advertisement highlights that the book contains nostalgic items, interviews with key personnel, and details on various characters from their games. The book is priced at 1,300 yen and is a collaborative publication between Red Company and SoftBank. This page is an advertisement for the official guide to Cyber Troopers Virtua on Oratorio Tangram. It highlights that this guide is for both light and hardcore users of Virtua Online and explains all the actions and systems of all 11 Virtua Onoroids in detail. It also includes basic strategies for versus CPU battles and advanced techniques for player characters, plus interviews with the producer and director. The guide is priced at 1,500 yen and is 224 pages long in A5 size, scheduled for release in late November. It is published by SoftBank. This page is dedicated to the Dreamcast game Evolution to Far Eden. It acts as a preview focusing on the Psi-frame, which is described as an essential item for adventurers and a relic of ancient civilization. The article promises to delve into the mysteries of the Psi-frame, exploring its functions and settings through the latest game information and a developer comic strip. Screenshots show gameplay and character art, including a scene of combat and character portraits of the main cast like the red-haired adventurer Mag, a blonde girl, and an older gentleman. It's mentioned that Mag's machine, likely the Psi-frame, is designed to be like a Swiss Army knife in terms of functionality and form. The page indicates the game is 85% complete and includes a message from the developer, ESP, who mentions that the Dreamcast has finally been released and asks if players have managed to get one. They state that Evolution is in its final stages of adjustment for a December 23rd release. Key details listed include that the game is developed by Sega, ESP, and Sting, is an RPG priced at 5,800 yen, and is for 1 player only. The bottom text hints at the continuing mysteries of ancient civilization within the game's world. This page introduces the Dreamcast game Evolution to Far Eden. It highlights the game's main stage, which revolves around exploring ruins and features the character Mag. The game is set in Panam Town, located in the center of the continent called Nusrup. Surrounding the town are various ruins that become the focus of exploration. These dungeons are described as having randomly generated structures each time you enter, and uniquely designed architecture. The environment of each ruin affects the attributes of the monsters found within. For example, in ice dungeons, stronger enemies resistant to cold will appear. The page showcases a dungeon map and details 5 distinct ruin locations. Shade Ruins, which is an ice dungeon where enemies become stronger the deeper you go. Sheol Ruins, a lava dungeon where you must traverse fiery magma paths. Descent Ruins, which was used as an ancient astronomical observatory. Heaven Ruins, a forest dungeon with a humid atmosphere containing moss and tree roots. And Blind Ruins, a water dungeon in a dense forest with flooded floors reminiscent of Inca architecture. Finally, the page includes character profiles explaining the origin of the names of key characters, such as mag launcher, linear cannon, grenade, chain gun, and pepperbox. This page highlights the Dreamcast RPG evolution to Far-Off World, with an interview featuring Takeshi Miyagi, the representative director and president of Especially. The interview discusses ESP's dedication to game development and their enthusiastic staff. Miyagi mentions that Evolution is being developed as a Dreamcast title with a focus on a light and enjoyable gameplay experience. He suggests that visually, the game might remind players of Grandia.
The page includes screenshots from Evolution and also Grandia for visual comparison. It emphasizes the experienced team working on Evolution, mentioning their previous work on titles like Lunar and Grandia, implying that Evolution benefits from the lineage of these successful games.
This page previews Dreamcast RPGs, highlighting an interview with ESP producer Yuichi Miyagi about their upcoming title. Inspired by games like Wizardry and Torneko no Daibuken, their RPG offers short-burst gameplay focused on dungeon exploration, featuring 6 dungeons and tense combat centered on leveling up and item collection for core RPG fans. Miyagi emphasizes simplified, intuitive gameplay, contrasting with more complex titles like Evolution, and highlights the game's light atmosphere and fast-paced battles. He sees Dreamcast as enabling new-generation RPGs with its enhanced graphical capabilities. The page also features screenshots and details 3 games: Lunar Series, a traditional RPG, Senritsu no Tatsujin Daikusaku Chaos Seed, a dungeon design simulation RPG with roguelike elements, and Baroque, a neural 3D dungeon RPG, and ESP's first Dreamcast title. The next page showcases the game Cyberframe Weapon Gun Frontier, highlighting 3 main characters and their Cyframe mecha. First is Mag Launcher, piloting the Era Comet, which is described as an all-rounder Cyframe equipped with hammer and spray parts, capable of various attacks, and adaptable to both land and air combat. Next, Flamenco pilots the Flamingo, a Cyframe designed like a flamingo focused on powerful single strikes and long-range attacks, utilizing elemental attributes. Lastly, Moran Salbonier is piloted by Pepperbox, a Cyframe developed by a foreign industrial manufacturer focusing on wide-range attacks and capable of status ailments and special attacks with additional parts. The page also mentions party members Linear and Gray, who are not Cyframe users. While they cannot use Cyframe abilities, they provide support. Linear can boost allies' abilities and heal HP, while Gray can temporarily enhance Cyframe parts. Both Linear and Gray participate in combat using weapons like frying pans and wash basins. This page introduces the cybernetics frame system from the Dreamcast game Evolution, the World of Sacred Device. It's explained in a comic strip style, where characters are discussing what a cybernetics frame is. It describes it as a core item for adventurers, almost like a part of their body, and indispensable for exploring dungeons. The page then details 3 types of cybernetics frames. First, the Assault Frame, wielded by Mag Launcher, is described as a versatile frame for various combat situations, offering multiple attack patterns and support abilities. The Maneuver Frame, used by Linear Cannon, is an attack-focused frame specializing in long-range combat and powerful line attacks. Finally, the Range Frame, wielded by Pepperbox, is a very large frame, but lightweight due to its chain construction, making it manageable even for smaller characters. It's described as suitable for aerial combat and short bursts of flight. The bottom of the page clarifies that cybernetics frame is a common name, and the official name is CYBERNETICS-FRAME, explaining it's an acronym derived from Function, Reach, Multiplier, and Equipment, highlighting the system's focus on customization and functionality. This page is a preview for the game incoming for the Sega Dreamcast. The scenario highlighted is Mission 4, set in California, titled Shuttle Defense War. The mission briefing describes an enemy base attack and a special unit assembled in California to defend a shuttle launch facility. The player's mission is to protect the shuttle from attacking enemy forces. The screenshots showcase gameplay, including explosions and fighter jets, and highlight the action-packed nature of the game. It mentions that the enemy is attacking by land and air, and that the player must defeat them to protect the shuttle. The page also mentions that this Scenario 4 provides a shooting-focused experience, independent of the main story in arcade mode. The game is from Imagineer, a shooting game, and is scheduled for release on December 17, priced at 5,800 yen. The text from the developer mentions that the release date has been finalized for December 17, and that players can look forward to beautiful graphics in about 3 weeks with the Dreamcast version. Earth Defense Force Weapons showcases the military equipment in a near-future game set during Earth's Fourth War. It features faithfully recreated real-world weapons like Comanche and Harrier helicopters, alongside original, plausible designs. Units displayed include attack helicopters, laser cannons, stationary and mobile, tanks, Eisenhower and Remartian type, a battleship gun mount, rocket launcher, and an alien-like combat machine. The game details missions like Mission Failure, where players must extinguish a fire at a munitions factory to prevent a shuttle fuel explosion that would destroy humanity. Another mission, Mothership Flying, introduces a massive enemy mothership over the Pacific. Defeating this mothership through coordinated satellite attacks is crucial for Earth's future, emphasizing the scale and urgency of the conflict. This page introduces the arcade mode in the shooting game Space Griffon VF9. It emphasizes the exhilarating, unrestricted shooting action. The page details the 10 different types of power-up items available in arcade mode, including shield recovery, rapid fire, invincibility, damage mirror, bullet addition, main weapon power-up, and sub-weapon power-up, along with random and smart bomb items. A section explains the game screen's HUD, highlighting elements like the radar, weapon displays, and markers. The game features 4 distinct battlefield areas, across locations like Africa, the Arctic, Oceania, and America. The article praises the destructive power of the smart bomb, capable of eliminating numerous enemies at once. This page is about a fun mode featuring enemy alien main weapon groups, also known as unknown technology battle units. The page details different types of alien battle units in the game. It describes scenarios in Stage Arctic, where alien military facilities are located, and players engage in battles near energy field generators. Another stage, Stage Atlantic, features naval battles to defend oil facilities in the Atlantic Ocean. Stage USA is set in California, featuring mountainous regions and shuttle launch facilities where players can pilot F-22 aircraft. The page showcases various alien units like the light tank, heavy tank, light attack craft, medium attack craft, interceptor craft, sea skimmer, submarine, and shield generator, each with unique designs and combat roles within the game. The text suggests that the game is highlighting the advanced and adaptable alien technology. This page is a preview for the surreal action RPG called Senkoku Turb for the Dreamcast. It delves into the game's strange and unique world, dubbed the Turb World, explaining it's a setting carried over from earlier PC titles by designers Masuo Masutani and Yoko Kuroyanagi. The game's stage is the Lion Planet, a bizarre world floating in space where protagonist Ji-chan gets caught up in a war between cats and weasels. The designer's comments reveal the Turb World was chosen simply because it existed, and players should interpret it as they feel it. The Lion Planet was vaguely conceived beforehand, designed in the shape of a lion, and created simply because it was there. Screenshots showcase the psychedelic and otherworldly environments of the game. Senkoku Turb is touted as a unique experience with charming characters and a surreal world that can't be imitated. The game is 90% complete and was slated for release on January 14, 1999. Published by NEC Home Electronics as an action RPG for 5,800 yen. The developer's message mentions the Cat and Weasel War and jokingly refers to player commands like Suicide King and Bat King. This page introduces the whimsical world of Rainbow Black Willow Catfish, a game featuring bizarre natural phenomena. The game world has strange occurrences, like jelly pools that rise and fall as if breathing. It also showcases unusual plant life, such as sushi flowers and curry flowers, which are described as unique to the game's world. Designers' comments highlight the jiggly, see-through nature of the jelly, and the Earth-like visual design of the curry and sushi elements. The game's item design is also emphasized as being detailed, even for minor characters and items, including bazooka cannons and a communicator device. The designers seem to have focused on creating a thoroughly imaginative and detailed world for players to explore. It appears to be part of the TURB series, though further details about the specific game title are not explicitly mentioned. This page introduces 2 distinct aspects of a Dreamcast game. Firstly, it showcases mysterious buildings, describing unusual architectural structures within the game world that are designed to look like sheep. even suggesting they could be sheep doctor laboratories or sushi restaurants. A designer's comment explains that the reason for these strange designs was simply to create a castle and a sheep doctor's lab. Sketches are shown detailing sheep-shaped and robot-like buildings, explaining how players can interact with them. Secondly, the page focuses on Fairy Tai Nyan, described as charming fairy characters inhabiting green grasslands. These fairies are vital for gameplay, providing health recovery and stat boosts.
A designer notes that fairies come in many colors and are a crucial medicine within the game. Screenshots feature these fairies in action and user interface elements related to character stats and item usage.
This page introduces two types of animal characters, bears and rabbits. For what is likely the game Tale of the Sun, the designer comments reveal that in the game's world, cats, sheep, bears, and rabbits are all prevalent. The designer feels a personal connection to bears and rabbits, considering them essential and irreplaceable. Sketches show various poses and expressions of these animal characters. The page also details a mysterious item called the Kumaneko Converter, a secret treasure from the cat kingdom. This item transforms bears and rabbits into cats, regardless of their own will, making it a very memorable item within the game. However, sometimes the conversion process fails, resulting in an imperfect creature known as Dekisokanai. The designer mentions that the Kumaneko Converter was originally designed to resemble a stun gun, and they intended for the Dekisokanai to be somewhat scary, hinting at a potentially unsettling outcome of the transformation process in the game. Screenshots show the characters in a 3D game environment. This page introduces the game 7th Cross Evolution, a simulation RPG for the Dreamcast, developed by NEC Home Electronics. Set for release on December 23rd, at 5,800 yen, it's described as a game where you hunt other creatures to evolve and become the strongest being. The page highlights the game's 3D polygon graphics, real-time battles, and a DNA sheet system for evolution. It mentions you'll experience tense battles for survival in beautiful natural environments, and that the game's main appeal is evolving your creature to become the ultimate life form. The game is described as a simulation RPG, where you collect parts to create your own unique organism in a 360-degree full polygon field. The text also mentions the need to think strategically about evolution and combat in real time to survive. This page explains how to understand the information displayed on the game screen, focusing on the field screen and command window. The field screen section shows the player's HP, EP, and direction. The command window covers features like EXPOWER, mutation, and status. The mutation screen section details how to use DNA sheets to change body parts, with explanations of different parts like head, arm, body, and leg. It breaks down the screen elements into numbered sections: part selection, part display, HP, EP display, ability display, movement parameter, body composition display, consumption body composition display, and part selection. Each section explains what information is shown, such as current and maximum HP/EP, attack and defense stats, intelligence, healing, dexterity, and body composition elements like water, protein, calcium, fiber, hard cell, and neurobio. It appears to be detailing the customization and status screens within the game Genki Bakuhatsu, Ganbare, Gekisha W Getter Love.
Hook, a creature breeding and battling game released only in Japan for the Dreamcast.
This page introduces the invertebrate area, which is the starting point of the game Genomu Senki, 7's Cross. It explains that players begin as a primitive life form, weak and without attack methods, needing to evolve by consuming microorganisms. As you progress to the origin form, you can then prey on other creatures. DNA sheets become available, allowing body parts to be acquired and equipped. Obtaining LAG parts allows exploration beyond previously unreachable caves. The page highlights the evolution system, showcasing the DNA evolution screen, part synthesis, and figure input feature. The objective is to defeat the guardian creature in the cave to advance to the next area. The game emphasizes character development and evolution through collecting parts and DNA. This page is an introduction to the fish area, in a game where players explore a world expanding under the sea. Movement in this area is restricted to underwater, and acquiring LAG parts for underwater mobility is crucial. The page highlights that walking in this newly discovered world is impossible initially, It mentions that after overcoming challenges, players can obtain fish-type LAG parts. The page also introduces the first formidable enemy, a crab, stating it can quickly defeat players with a single blow. It emphasizes the need to evolve and become stronger to overcome it. A guardian lifeform, described as a large shark-ray hybrid found deep in the lake, is also showcased as a dangerous foe, and the appearance of amphibian enemies adds further peril. A section titled Angel's Appearance shows an angelic figure within the game. The Result Output section displays game stats and part selection, suggesting a system where players acquire parts through gameplay. The text encourages players to repeatedly challenge until they obtain desired parts, hinting at a part collection and customization aspect. The page explains that the game uses neural networks to learn player input patterns, allowing for prediction of results based on player actions in order to acquire parts, encouraging players to understand these patterns for effective part collection in the area exploration. This page introduces Power Stone, a pure natural color fighting action game for the Dreamcast. It highlights the concept of Power Stones, which are gems that grant mysterious abilities. The page emphasizes that the game is not just a standard fighting game, but an action battle title, comparing it to Jackie Chan's action style, mentioning that weapons and environment objects can be used. The screenshots showcase in-game action with characters like Fokker, Ryoma, Galuda, and Wangtang, battling in 3D environments. The page mentions that object usage and stage elements are important, along with high-level graphics for characters and backgrounds. It also details the control scheme, explaining it's based on the Dreamcast controller with 8-way directional movement and 3 buttons for punch, kick, and jump, mentioning that different techniques will vary depending on the situation and that guarding is less important than movement and jumping. The game is described as being 50% complete, a Capcom vs. fighting action game compatible with the VM, price undecided, planned for release this winter, supporting 12 players and based on the arcade version. A developer comment mentions wanting to create a fighting game where players can freely move around the stage and use objects. Power Stone for Dreamcast features dynamic gameplay centered around collecting Power Stones to metamorphose into a transformed state with special abilities and powerful attacks. Players strategically gather these stones to gain an advantage in combat, further enhanced by weapons and items found in treasure chests. The game presents diverse character matchups, such as the agile Ayame against the Jungle Boy Fokker on a thatched roof stage, and the clash between the small Wangtang and large Gunrock, highlighting that size isn't everything. Fokker, when transformed, unleashes a devastating full-direction missile attack. Beyond the showcase characters, more are hinted at, including Arabian-style bosses. The official Power Stone website is announced to launch on November 27th, promising further details on this Dreamcast title, which is set for multimedia expansion alongside its arcade release. This page is from Naomi's Room and announces the Dreamcast version of The House of the Dead 2. It highlights the arcade version's completion and the heightened anticipation for its home console release on Dreamcast. The article praises the zombie graphics as highly detailed and realistic. It mentions the arcade game running on the NAOMI system board and that the Dreamcast version will be based on this hardware. The page features screenshots of zombies in a detailed environment and teases the different enemy types players will encounter, such as ninja zombies and frog creatures, noting the graphical improvements from the previous game. It also announces a dedicated arcade cabinet for The House of the Dead 2 Inches, which was also used for Jurassic Park, and is designed for 2 players. The article suggests that playing with 2 people in the arcade cabinet will be a thrilling experience. This page from AOMI's Room focuses on The House of the Dead 2. It highlights Chapter 4 titled Despair, which is set in a dark underground passage leading to a coliseum. The gameplay tips advise players to be cautious of enemies emerging from the darkness and emphasize accurate aiming. The page introduces Strength as the Chapter 4 boss, a formidable enemy wielding a large chainsaw, and encourages players to work together to defeat it and rescue their comrades, mentioning characters Harry and Amy. The article praises the game's spot processing graphical effects, specifically the dynamic lighting in the dark passages. There's also a Naomi title operation schedule list, showcasing upcoming arcade games for the Naomi system, including The House of the Dead 2 from Sega in the gun shooting genre scheduled for November, Dynamite Baseball Naomi from Sega, a sports game for year-end, Zombie Zone, an action title from Sega with an unscheduled release, Power Stone, an action game from Capcom, also unscheduled, and Dead or Alive 2 from Tecmo in the fighting genre, also unscheduled. Finally, it's noted that the title for Zombie Zone has been officially decided, and further details about Dynamite Baseball will be in the next issue. The development of Zombie Zone is currently 35% complete. This page showcases the ENO X OHTS Yuki-I Kenji-I collaboration, likely referring to game creator Kenji Ino working with musician Kenji Otsuki. The page prominently features the title Boku Ragao, which translates to Our Faces, with the phrase Boku Raga on Rurumono appearing repeatedly, and this is the Japanese title for the game D. The large image is of a woman, likely Laura Harris, the main character from the game D. Below are 3 screenshots from the game D, a horror-adventure game by Warp released on Sega Saturn and later Dreamcast, and known internationally as D. The copyright mentions 1998 Warp, which is consistent with the release period of D. This page is a feature related to the Dreamcast game D2. It poses questions about what you are afraid of, such as darkness, ghosts, or splatters, even the person sitting next to you. It introduces a special project for D no Shokutaku 2, also known as D2 internationally, and features a dialogue titled D2 Dialogue between D2 director Kenji Ino and game artist Kenji Otsuki, discussing theories of fear across 8 pages, hinting at a scary and in-depth exploration of the topic. The page also features repeating images of a woman and a small image of a robot, likely from the game D2. This page features a portrait of Kenji Otsuki, with his name displayed in Japanese and English. It seems to be an introduction page to a feature or interview about him. This page summarizes a discussion between Isakano and Otsuki about fear and horror in games. They explore the nature of fear, with Ino describing his interest in untouchable things, using analogies of restricted areas and unsettling encounters, like a strange restaurant. Otsuki agrees, bringing up Border Down as an example of fear in games. The conversation shifts to the boundary between humans and monsters within game worlds, questioning moral regulations and the implications of violence and death. They ponder the player's identity as human or monster, and the ethical challenges of balancing violence with morality, considering potential discrimination if monsters are likened to marginalized groups. They also discuss the impact of rapid information flow on game development, emphasizing the need for depth and avoiding superficiality. The central theme is summarized by the idea of a mummy hunter becoming a mummy, highlighting the danger of becoming consumed by the unsettling topics one explores, especially in game creation. This page features a prominent portrait of Kenji Ino. The text present at the bottom corner displays his name, Kenji Ino, in both Japanese and English. This suggests the page is focused on Kenji Ino himself, likely as a profile or interview piece related to his work in the games industry. This page is an interview between game developer Kenji Ino and musician Kenji Otsuki, discussing the theme of imagination, delusion, and fear in the creative industries. They talk about how the games industry is changing and the fading indie spirit. Ino and Otsuki share anecdotes about fan behavior, creative expectations, and personal reflections on fear and misunderstandings they encounter in their work. They touch upon the idea of existing conventions and taboos in their industries and the challenges of breaking them, as well as the nature of creative expression and the sometimes unsettling aspects of imagination and delusion. They conclude by discussing how these fears have become a central theme in their conversation, and delve into stories of fear and misunderstanding, including a serious anecdote about an encounter with the Yakuza. This page features an interview between Igino and Otsuki, discussing the concept of horror in games, relating it to real-life fears. They discuss various scary scenarios, such as Yakuza stories, falling elevators, plane crashes, and earthquakes, and how these could be used as themes in games. The page includes screenshots that appear to be from a zombie-themed game set in an airplane. The interviewers are exploring the idea of 100 Tales of Terror and considering what truly makes games frightening, from realistic Yakuza encounters to supernatural elements and psychological anxieties like the fear of disappointing parents after failing at university. They discuss how even everyday situations can become sources of fear in games. This page is focused on the Dreamcast game D2, D no Shokutaku 2, an adventure RPG, with a scheduled release in 1999 for 5,800 yen. The page features screenshots from the game, showing scenes inside a plane, possibly after a crash, with disturbing and gory imagery. The text snippets at the top appear to be dialogue between characters discussing scary stories and the feeling of impending doom. The page highlights 2 characters, Laura and Kimberly. Laura is described as being found after a plane crash, returning to the scene of the incident. Kimberly is seen in the wreckage, possibly as a survivor. The game's plot seems to revolve around monsters and survival horror elements, with a focus on visual memory and communication features. The text also mentions D no Shokutaku 2 inches as D's Diner 2, indicating a potential early translation or working title. The game is described as an action RPG with visual memory and communication compatibility. This page is an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation Gakuen, an animation school celebrating its 10th anniversary. It highlights a 99.01% debut rate for graduates and promotes courses available such as animator, digital paint artist, game graphic designer, and others. The ad also mentions a free audition for new voice actors and talent, and features imagery from the animated movie Ants, mentioning it as a spectacular CG animation, #1 in the U.S. box office. It advertises enrollment for April of Heisei 11, 1999, with discounted admission fees for the anniversary year and different payment plans. A t-shirt giveaway for 30 people is also promoted. This page is a contents page for Sega Saturn magazine. It highlights sections including the Sega Saturn magazine data station, the Sega Saturn reader's race, and a Coming Soon Soft section showcasing upcoming titles. Games mentioned in the Coming Soon Soft section include NOCL3, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3, and Idol Janshi Tsuchipai Limited Edition, a special 5th anniversary package. The new release title section points to Roommate W Futari, and the complete guide section features Shizen, Season, Real Mahjong Adventure, Kai-E Summer Waltz, and the Sega Saturn Soft Review. This page showcases the weekly Sega Saturn data station's Shop Data Top 10 Software Sales Ranking. Marvel's Superheroes vs. Street Fighter tops the chart, unsurprisingly, given its popularity. Following in second place is Black Matrix, a reprint version, showing its continued demand.
Piakarity Yukoso 2, a dating sim, sits in third place. The rest of the top 10 includes titles like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Eva and Pleasant Companions, Mobile Suit Gundam, Guren's Ambition Strategy Instruction Manual, Virtual Call S, Capcom Generation Volume 4, Shining Force 2I, Scenario 3, Mobile Battleship Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Years, and Falcom Classics 2. Below the ranking is a release schedule calendar. Upcoming Saturn releases include Farland Saga, The Mark of Time in both regular and limited editions, 6-inch My Darling, Girl Doll Toy, and Pro Instruction Mahjong Hey. Releases planned for this winter include Friends Shine of Youth. Moving into early '99, we have Battle Arena Toshinden Subaru Blaze, planned for January, followed by Aikyu Gensukyoku Ensemble in February, and Dungeons & Dragons Collection in spring. Other games listed with undetermined release dates are Rockman 8 Metal Heroes, Roommate W Futari, a game tentatively titled From KS, Millennium Fire, and DEVICEREIGN. This page showcases the User Data Top 20 Feet ranking of anticipated Sega Saturn games. At number 1 is Sakura Taisen, Sakura Wars, a strategy simulation with dating sim elements, boasting a 100% development progress and 289 points. Number 2 is Darby Stallion, a horse racing simulation, with 80% completion and 174 points. Number 9 is Monster Maker Holly Dagger, a simulation RPG, at 70% development and 94 points. The ranking table lists 20 games with their points and release dates, highlighting titles such as Was, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, Frenets, Blue Spring Glimmer, Noel 3 Feet, and Real Sound 2, Kaze No Regret. The page also mentions that Sonic Fighters has disappeared from the release schedule, expressing disappointment but hinting at new software announcements in the coming weeks. The page includes screenshots from Sakura Taisen, Derby Stallion, and Monster Maker Holly Dagger. It's a preview of upcoming Sega Saturn games, gauging player interest, and highlighting key titles. This page is a Sega Saturn Reader Poll ranking page, dated November 27th, showcasing the results of votes for Saturn games. The page explains that this corner of the magazine is for readers to evaluate all Saturn software on a 10-point scale, with the average score being published weekly. This ranking serves as a guide for readers when purchasing games, based on the opinions of other players. The page features a massive list of games, ranked by reader vote score. At the bottom right, there's a comment section titled, Odds Table, A Long Battle Comes to an End, which mentions the release of the Dreamcast
and its impact on the Saturn game rankings. It suggests that with the Dreamcast on the horizon, this reader's race for Saturn games might be coming to a close. It specifically points out, "Welcome to Pia Carrot 2 inches," and wonders if it will become the #1 Saturn software in the final ranking. This page reviews new Sega Saturn games and includes a popularity chart. Real Mahjong Adventure, To the Sea Summer Waltz, is praised as a well-made adventure game with appealing characters, engaging story, and enjoyable minigames. Cotton Boomerang is highlighted as a refined shooting game evolving from Cotton 2, with enhanced shooting focus, familiar systems, and a new punch system, considered a faithful arcade port. First Love Story, a simulation game, aims for a sweet first love experience, but is criticized for simple graphics, slow pacing, lack of event depth, and limited new content compared to its PC Engine version, despite a varied character system. The page also features a popularity chart Saturn B, a ranked list of Sega Saturn software with scores, although details are not provided. This page is a Sega Saturn popularity ranking chart, presenting a list of games ordered by their rank, alongside previous ranking, game titles, genres, and average votes. The chart lists a wide variety of Saturn games popular at the time in Japan, spanning genres like RPG, adventure, racing, action, and more obscure categories. Games like Gunblaze S, Zork I, Battle Arena Toshinden, Code R, Winning Post 2, Samurai Showdown, and Willy Wombat are included within the rankings, representing a snapshot of Sega Saturn game popularity in Japan during this period. All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua for Sega Saturn is highlighted as a selected masterpiece, praised for its realistic pro wrestling gameplay and featuring mode, which incorporates Virtua Fighter techniques. The review emphasizes strategic gameplay and impactful moves, enhanced by voice commentary. Legendary wrestlers with powerful moves are featured. A reader's comment praises the game's fusion of sports and fighting game genres, appealing to fans of both and offering simulation elements for All Japan Pro Wrestling enthusiasts. The developers highlight realism achieved through cooperation with All Japan Pro Wrestling and motion capture with wrestlers like Mr. Baba. A Dreamcast release is also promoted, using its low ranking to create anticipation with the phrase, "Emperor Reversal." A Saturn game ranking table is included but not detailed in the text. This magazine page focuses on Sega Saturn content and reader engagement. It previews upcoming Saturn games, including a review of Capcom Generation's 4th collection, 6.3310. Reader comments are featured discussing magazine content and character expressions. Mini reviews are provided for Saturn titles. Rocks Locks, 6.33, Addictive Puzzle. Mizuba Daibuken Adventure, 6.0, Faithful but Lacks Impact. And Soul Divide, 6.33, Card-based RPG with flaws. A prediction contest for Virtua Fighter 3 TB is promoted, following a previous Evangelion contest. Readers are invited to participate in a prize draw by sending a postcard with feedback, game ratings, comments, and predictions by December 3rd, with prizes including controller sets, wireless controllers, joysticks, and Saturn software. Prizes visually highlighted include standard, wireless controllers, and a joystick. This page is an advertisement for ZDNet Japan, a comprehensive Japanese computer information website. It boasts a massive user base and highlights its wide range of content channels. For gamers, there's GameSpot, which offers the latest information on popular platforms like PlayStation and Dreamcast. The site also features news, internet information, variety content such as comics and minigames, programming, software downloads, and online magazines. This page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game Noelle 3, an adventure title focused on rescuing high school students. This installment emphasizes the concept of time within the gameplay, introducing the Elisa rescue system. The game is set to be released on December 10th by Pioneer LDC, priced at 6,900 yen. The preview highlights two key gameplay systems: information gathering action time passes, where actions like hack-in and wait influence time progression, and hacking and precise information memories of you, which focuses on gathering crucial information through hacking to advance the story. Screenshots depict gameplay interfaces with commands such as hacking, research and execution, and character art in anime style, and scenes like a bingo scene. The game is described as a last-of-the-century dropout adventure, with a focus on new game mechanics and player experience. This page dives into the analysis of the Saturn game Noelle 3. It reveals that unlike what was initially thought, The game doesn't have just one storyline, but features scenario branching. This means the story can change, depending on the player's choices, and which characters they focus on. The article highlights the 5 heroines aspect, questioning who will become the main focus. Another key system discussed is the conversation ball,
emphasizing that conversation choices significantly impact the female character's favorability towards the player.
This suggests that paying attention to dialogue and choosing responses carefully is crucial for building relationships in the game. The analysis mentions that depending on choices, players can reach a bad end, or presumably a happy ending, indicating different outcomes based on gameplay. The page also includes a mini glossary explaining terms used in the world of Noel 3 inches, such as access, virus, and server, suggesting a tech-focused or cyber-themed setting. It further delves into cyberflex and nanomachine, possibly hinting at futuristic or advanced technological elements within the game's narrative. Alisa Rescue System is a security OS simulation game where players must rescue trapped students from terrorists within a building. The game interface features an instruction group guiding players, terrorists to avoid, and shutters to control movement. Players can use an alarm to distract terrorists and must rescue remaining classmates, indicated by map icons, before the security protect level time limit runs out. Success requires strategic navigation and use of the Alisa system's features to outmaneuver terrorists and rescue students like Uchida Yoko, Etsuchi Miyuki, and others from Eriho High School 3rd Year Class B. The game is a tense strategy title focused on timely rescues and outsmarting enemies. This page introduces Alisa Rescue System, which is the Sega Saturn game Alisa Dragoon. It details the game's strategic command system. You can give orders like move to direct characters, or wait to hold position. The system command lets you control security features like shutter to close doors and alarm to lure enemies. The MAP and floor options are for viewing different levels. The game emphasizes securing safe routes by utilizing alarms and shutters to outmaneuver terrorists. The page also showcases character portraits and names like Masami Terada, China Nishimura, Yoko Mitarai, and others, along with their birthdays and blood types. This page is introducing Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3, Departure Poem, the latest in the drama series. It highlights Akiho Minori as a character and reveals 3 new minigames being added to the game. One minigame detailed is the Marathon minigame, which features parameter stats like weight, rhythm, stamina, and strength. The game is described as a youth adventure title from Konami, slated for release in spring 1999 for the Sega Saturn. The page also mentions the completion rate is at 70%. This page introduces characters and minigames from the Sega Saturn title Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You. First up is Mihagihara Ai, who is worried about being forgotten after graduation. Saotome Yumi is featured next, described as energetic and skilled in cooking, with a minigame where you follow button prompts in a cooking challenge. Kiyokawa Nozomi is introduced as a swimming club member, who will continue swimming professionally after graduation. Finally, Kagami Mira is presented as a beautiful character considering a modeling career. 2 minigames are highlighted: Yumi's cooking game, which is a button timing game, and AI's language game, which seems to involve communicating with a crow. The page also mentions the release of an original video anime for Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You, and promotional events for it. This page is dedicated to the game Heroine Illusion, Rururiru no Yukio, which translates roughly to Heroine Illusion, Yukio of Rururiru, or Yukio in Turquoise Snow. It's a romance-adventure game, scheduled for release on December 10th, priced at 6,800 yen, and is rated for adults 18 and over. The game is stated as being 100% complete in development. The page highlights the unique concept of the game, focusing on a heroine who is a snow woman. The prologue section explains the premise. The protagonist moves into a room, rumored to have ghosts, for 18,000 yen a month. He dismisses the rumors, but one night has a strange dream influenced by the rumor. Upon opening his closet the next day, he discovers a snow woman inside, initiating their life together. An event check section points out a scene where the heroine's skirt is blown up in the wind, emphasizing fan service elements. The annoying woman section elaborates on the heroine's personality, describing her as someone who loses her memory and causes trouble, but also someone who will stay by your side. The page includes screenshots showcasing in-game scenes and character interactions, emphasizing the visual style and story elements of the game. This page from the magazine introduces the Sega Saturn game Yuki-onna in the Hot Spring. It focuses on the main character Ruri and her secrets or unique traits. The page highlights 5 key secrets about Ruri. She can fly, she dislikes hot things, she is very naive to the world, she can disappear, and she absolutely loves ice cream. There's an event check section describing a scenario where Ruri gets caught dine-and-dashing because she is broke, but ends up getting offered a part-time job. Another section titled, "It's Too Late When You Think Oops," tells a story where Ruri accidentally crashes into an automatic door at a bank. The affection level section explains that the game displays affection levels for the girls, making it easy to see how they feel about you. The text also teases that life with Ruri is far from peaceful and uneventful, hinting at encounters with other girls like a snow woman and an exorcist girlfriend, suggesting romantic elements and relationship building in the game. Characters named Yuko, Kaori, Manabekun, and Ruri are mentioned, suggesting they are important characters in the story. This page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game Idol, Yanshi Tsuchipai Mecha Genteiban, which is the Mecha Limited Edition for the 5th anniversary of the series. This adventure game is set in Kamiyoshihara and features characters like Yuki Mizuno. The story involves strange incidents happening at night at the school, with a girl in a kimono appearing with fire. The gameplay includes adventure elements and mahjong. The Mecha Limited Edition is a 3 CD-ROM set and includes premium telephone cards as a bonus. It was released on November 27th by Jaleco for 7,800 yen and is recommended for ages 18 and over. The game features full voice acting and is for 1 player. The page also mentions various shops in Akihabara and Nagoya where the limited edition can be found. This page previews the Saturn game sequel to Searcher Pi called Searcher Pi Special, showcasing features added to the free battle mode and menu. The article is titled, "Tokyo is in a Big Fire? The Mystery of the Kimono Sleeve Incident 300 Years Ago." It describes the storyline, where characters Kyoko and Yuki visit Cecile to investigate the Furisode incident. They learn about Lelam, who made a contract with a girl resembling Mayonaka in the past. The girl died, and her Furisode kimono became cursed, leading to a big fire 300 years ago. The article mentions that in the sequel, Searcher Pi Special, characters from Game Tengoku will be available in the free battle mode. The characters Yuki, Celia, Miki, Misato, and Clarice from Game Tengoku are introduced with short descriptions of what they like. It also explains how to access Yuki in the menu, stating that after starting Disc 3, by pressing the Start button, Yuki can be selected in the menu. This page previews the Sega Saturn game Roommate W2 People from the Junya Inoue series. It's described as a real-time communication game where you experience living with 2 girls, Kaori and Yuko. The game tracks days and stages, and your life progresses alongside theirs. The release is slightly delayed, but is 90% complete, with a message asking players to be patient. The page highlights in-game event scenes with both characters, including escorting a dressed-up Yuko and Katori eagerly trying on a nurse uniform she received, suggesting varied scenarios and interactions. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game Real Mahjong Adventure, Umi Summer Waltz. The guide is advertised as a complete strategy guide, featuring koryaku, or walkthroughs and captures. It highlights strategy charts for all 7 heroines in the game. It promises to cover normal and best endings, hidden events, and essential data for a complete clear. The guidebook was scheduled for release in December, with a price of 1,400 yen for an A5-sized, 112-page book. The advert features anime-style artwork of the 7 female characters from the game in yukatas. This page is a strategy guide page for the Sega Saturn romance-adventure game Shizen Seasons. The goal is to achieve CG completion in the autumn and winter scenarios, requiring multiple playthroughs. This guide focuses on the first playthrough, Autumn Chapter, providing a complete flowchart to obtain CG images. The flowchart outlines choices across 3 in-game days to reach either a happy end or a bad end, with certain choices marked to indicate they unlock CG images. The game features characters Tenoji Nozomi and Kashiwagi Rin, and screenshots showcase the game's visual novel style and some in-game scenes related to the story decisions. Shizen Seasons was released on November 19th in Japan for 6,800 yen and is recommended for ages 18 and up. This page introduces the Winter First Play scenario, which is shorter than other seasonal scenarios, but offers many CG images because there are 3 girls involved. The page features a complete flowchart to guide players through the first playthrough of this scenario. It details choices across Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3, leading to an ending with Suzune. On Day 1, you make decisions regarding Rika, like comforting her or ignoring her, with further branching choices depending on your initial action. Day 2 focuses on Mizuho and hospital visits, offering choices such as asking Mizuho for help or going to another nurse, with some paths leading to a bad end. Day 3 concludes with Suzune's ending. Certain choices marked on the flowchart indicate where CG images are unlocked. The guide emphasizes the importance of your interaction with Rika and Suzune on Day 2, warning that indifference will result in a bad ending. Specifically, choosing Get Angry during a Day 1 choice with Rika will unlock a CG, and more Suzune CGs are obtained during Day 2 encounters, with multiple Suzune CGs appearing in the ending. The next page is a strategy guide for a Sega Saturn game, and it looks like it's for Season of the Second Autumn, which was never released outside of Japan. This guide is for the Autumn Second Round scenario, and presents a complete flowchart to navigate the game. The flowchart is broken down into Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3, outlining the choices you need to make to get a happy ending. Depending on your selections, you can reach a happy ending with either Nozomi or Madoka, or stumble into a bad end if you make the wrong choices. The boxes with the square, hollow square symbols likely represent key decisions that impact the ending and possibly unlock special CG images within the game. The images on the page appear to be screenshots from Season of the Second Autumn, showcasing some of the characters and romantic scenes you can encounter. This page is a game guide walkthrough for the visual novel adventure game Likely to Be to Heart, presented as First Play or First Playthrough Guide for the game Winter. The page details the branching paths and choices in the game across 3 in-game days, highlighting that the decisions made on the second day are crucial for unlocking different character endings for sub-characters Rika and Suzune, as well as a Mizuho ending. The guide starts with the prologue in Day 1, then details the branching choices in Day 2, with options like Don't Rely on Mizuho, It Will Be Alright Somehow, Ask Another Nurse, Don't Tell the Truth, and Tell the Truth. These choices lead to further branching on Day 3, ultimately resulting in different endings, including a happy end and a bad end associated with Suzune. The guide uses a flowchart to visually represent the decision tree and how choices affect the story and endings. It also mentions that CG artwork can be unlocked depending on the player's approach to Reika. This page is a guide for the Sega Saturn game Umi Summer Waltz, Summer Waltz a real mahjong adventure. It describes the game as a jigsaw puzzle, where players progress towards a happy ending with heroines by fitting pieces together. The page explains the concept of a super end, a rare ending achieved through perfect play focusing on one heroine. It requires precise choices and ATS, active time slip, decisions to meet specific conditions and reach the highest intimacy level. The bottom half of the page is a Hamagasaki Summer Life Guide, focusing on the character Mizuki Toono, presenting a schedule from August 22nd to August 30th. The schedule details Mizuki's daily activities at locations like the forest park, pet shop, small park, beach, and street, with brief descriptions of events like visiting the pet shop, encountering Gaho, and searching for someone. The schedule is presented as a gameplay guide for players to follow. This strategy guide page focuses on the Sega Saturn game True Love Story 2, offering walkthroughs for 3 heroines, Fujiwara Aya, Hayasaka Akira, and Kayama Tamami. For each character, it presents a schedule table from August 22nd to August 30th, outlining daily events and locations. Aya's story revolves around her grandmother's house and a lost ring, with key events like Girl and Ring and Document Retrieval Plan. Akira's guide highlights her emotional journey with events such as Exposure of Extreme Evil and Akira's Heart Wavering. Tamami's walkthrough suggests she influences the protagonist's actions, featuring events like Again Deeply Moved and To the Final Battle. Screenshots illustrate key moments for each character. The guide provides a structured, visually aided walkthrough, using schedules and event highlights to navigate each heroine's storyline in the game. This page is a strategy guide for a Sega Saturn game featuring 3 main characters: Yukari Kimiya, Chris Garland, and Mari Kurihara. Each character section provides a day-by-day walkthrough from August 22nd to August 30th, detailing locations and key events to trigger. For Yukari, the guide points to a mermaid fossil theme and interactions with a character named Sue, highlighting important choices around the 23rd. Chris's section focuses on a secret treasure hunt and exploration in locations like the mountain and library, with hints on staying calm and persistent. Mari's route seems to revolve around dates and romantic events at places like the beach and fossil museum, emphasizing date consultations and charming interactions. The guide uses key points boxes to give specific advice and visual cues, with screenshots for each character's storyline, suggesting branching paths and different outcomes based on player choices. The game appears to be a dating simulation or adventure game, where building relationships with these characters and navigating events on specific dates is crucial. This page details capture guides for a costume photo event in a game, focusing on two heroines, Chris and Tamami. For Chris, the guide highlights key dates starting from August 1st, detailing actions like going to the boutique in the Windhill, answering questionnaires, and making choices during conversations at the station. ATS inputs. For Tamami, it mentions the importance of going to the mountain on the evening of August 8th to trigger an event. The page also reveals a hidden message board feature at the station, where developers and voice actors leave messages, accessible by inputting ATS. Finally, there is a notice about a score attack contest for the game Real Mahjong Adventure, with submission details and prizes, and the deadline for entries is December 13th, 1998. The page also gives scoring point details for the contest, including CG achievement rate and scenario score. This Sega Saturn review page covers Capcom Generation Volume 5 Fighters and Winning Post 3 Program 98. Capcom Generation Volume 5 Fighters, a collection of 3 Street Fighter 2" games, is highly recommended for fighting game enthusiasts, scoring 7.66/10. Reviewers praised its nostalgic arcade experience, responsive controls, quick loading, and collection mode. Winning Post 3 Program 98, a horse racing simulation focused on breeding, received a 7.33/10. Its updated data and new rival system were appreciated, adding depth and tension, though loading times were noted as slightly long. The BGM was also highlighted positively. Side columns offer insights into the reviewer and announce the updated features of Winning Post 3 Program 98. The next page is an advertisement for the Super Robot Wars F&F Final Chapter Complete Edition Perfect Reference. This book is advertised as a comprehensive guide that covers everything about Super Robot Wars F&F Final Chapter in one volume. It mentions that it will include event flowcharts, complete pilot and unit data, spirit command combo lists, and pilot and unit diagram books with 100% coverage. It is scheduled for release in November, priced at 2,300 yen, and will be a large volume of 440 pages. The advert emphasizes that this is a guide that fans have been eagerly waiting for and contains a wealth of information, including previously unrevealed hidden elements and original content exclusive to the book. It concludes by saying that with this book, the F and Final Chapter saga is complete. This page highlights the Red Kanpani Wine Market Street, providing a close-up look at the wine market event held at Torigo Shrine in Asakusa. The article explains that the wine market is a tradition for Red Kanpani, taking place every year in November, and is a popular gathering spot. It delves into the historical origins of the market, linking it to the Torigo Shrine and the legendary figure Yamato Takeru. Additionally, the page promotes the Arcana Strikes card game strategy guide, published by SoftBank. Arcana Strikes, a trading card game for Sega Saturn, is featured with its box art, and the guide promises to help players master the game's strategic elements. This page highlights the Red Company employees' New Year's visit to Chiba Town, showcasing various aspects of the event through photos and captions. The page captures the atmosphere of the event, featuring scenes like the initial departure, New Year's greetings, the crowd, large kumade, decorated rake, displays, and food stalls. It mentions guest attendees such as Yuki Tomosato, Aya, Nishimura Tsunami, and DJ from Tohoku Shinsha. There's a giveaway of Hiroi Oji signed Daruma dolls for 3 people. To enter, readers need to write their desired prize, address, name, and other necessary information on a postcard and send it to the address provided. The page also previews the Game Boy game Robot Pankatsu, developed by Hudson and RED. The game is set in Ponpon Island and features a protagonist named Yusuke, who becomes the president of a robot dispatch company. The story revolves around raising Robopon robots, rebuilding the company, and battling. It emphasizes the Jacopan system, to increase the number of robots, diverse battle types, evolution system, infrared communication for battles and trades, and speaker outputting voices. The game has two versions, Sun, Star, and Star, Sun, both released simultaneously on December 4th, with a price of 3,800 yen. This page features several articles and announcements. On the top left, there's an article about the 03 Super Battle Tournament for Street Fighter 03, Street Fighter Alpha 3 internationally, focusing on the final battle and its outcome. It mentions that the event was televised on November 22nd and describes the match between Umehara, using VISM Guki, Akuma, and Alex, using VISM Ryu. Umehara won the match, which was a best-of-3 format. Screenshots from the game are included. On the top right, there is an announcement for the release of the Kikayo soundtrack CD. It boasts a large volume with 90 tracks and 110 minutes of sound and sound effects. A limited first edition includes a box modeled after a brown tube and a jacket-sized original calendar featuring newly rendered 3D CG images. The soundtrack was released on November 21st and cost 2,940 yen, tax included, for 2 discs. In the middle section, there's a call for postcards for the Hirokapu Dash section, inviting readers to send in postcards. At the bottom, there is the first installment of Shaiki Akitomo's Monster Tales, titled First Night, The Man Dressed in a Swallowtail Coat. This article discusses Bela Lugosi and his role as Dracula in the 1931 Universal film Dracula. It talks about Lugosi's background, his portrayal of Dracula, and the movie's impact. The article includes images of Bela Lugosi in costume and scenes related to Dracula. This page previews a strategy guide for Capcom's arcade fighting game, Kikayo, Tech Romancer, focusing on CPU opponents. It details strategies for 6 playable characters. Kikayo excels at long range with Rocket Blow and Heat Brave Laser, and close range with Steel Dash combos. Wise Duck strategy centers on Break Shaft and Bull Break. Twin Zam V, with high attack power, effectively uses Twin Zam Rush and Tomahawk Breaker, especially from vertical jumps. Diana 17 is strong, with aerial attacks like Sky Soap Bubble Launcher and Sky Hunting Spear, followed by AAA combos. Valcione relies on AA attacks, Steel Dash for approach, and Jet Orb plus J for close combat. Boron utilizes mid-range ranged attacks, like Iron Ball Straight and Destruction Drill, combined with dash attacks and Steel Dash. The guide emphasizes exploiting predictable CPU patterns using Steel Dash and Final Steel attacks, and features character screenshots and move notations. The next page highlights Magical Truck Adventure from Sega AM3, a motion-sensing action game planned for release in December. This 2-player game uses the Model 3 arcade board and focuses on racing trolleys to chase a mysterious stone. Gameplay involves players stepping on pedals to control their trolleys, avoiding obstacles, and engaging in action sequences. The game has a total of 6 stages and even features a couple compatibility degree displayed at the end of a 2-player game, suggesting it's perfect for couples to enjoy. The page also showcases the dedicated arcade cabinet with pedals for enhanced immersion and action. This page is an advertisement for the arcade game LA Machine Guns, Rage of the Machines, the sequel to Gunblade NY. This new game uses the Model 3 board for enhanced 3D graphics, aiming for a dynamic and beautiful visual experience exceeding its predecessor. Gameplay involves shooting numerous enemies with machine guns, set in locations like LA, Alcatraz, Las Vegas, and Yosemite, across 5 stages. The game is a 2-player gun shooting game scheduled for release in December and developed by Sega AM3 R&D. The story is set in 2025, where a high-rise building Delta Othello in LA is attacked by android forces ROM, and the Special Air Assault Force SIFAT is dispatched. This Sega AM&D Department No. 1 official corner feature details Stage 6, West Ocean, of the game Ocean Hunter, the 7 Seas Adventure. This area, ruled by the demon Lavath, features ancient creatures and leads to entering the boss's body. Enemies like Fast Umisorori, Sea Scorpion, and Durable Deinicthus require precise shooting. The stage boss is Midgar Zorm, a 35-meter giant serpent with powerful bite attacks, demanding players aim for its mouth. Inside Midgar Zorm, players must shoot down attacking creatures while targeting the heart. Enemies inside include Anomalocaris, Odontogryphus, and Opabinia, Burgess Animal Group. Stage 6 introduces diverse ancient organisms from different eras as enemies and promotes Ocean Hunter, a Sega AM one-gun shooting game on Model 3 hardware. The next page is from Weekly Dreams Sega AM Express and is about the development of Daytona USA 2. This article is part of a two-part series with an interview with director Toshihiro Nagoshi. The article discusses the location scouting trip to America for Daytona USA 2, and the director mentions visiting Daytona International Speedway and taking photos of road textures to use in the game. They also talk about how the team went to Las Vegas, referring to it as an amusement park-like environment. Screenshots of the game show the different course levels: beginner course, intermediate course, which is set in an amusement park, and advanced course set in a city. The director explains that the team took extensive location photos in America to capture the atmosphere for the game and ensure the courses felt authentically American. The article also mentions that the next issue will have more information. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Spike Out: Battle Street, focusing on hidden routes within the game. It details how to access and navigate the back routes, starting from Area 2, explaining that these routes offer a different game experience. The guide then delves into specific areas. Area 3, Back Route. This area is set in underground waterways with significant elevation changes requiring jumping. It mentions enemies don't need to jump and advises players to proceed cautiously. There's a tip about fighting on stairs and a warning about narrow passages, making it easier to fight enemies in smaller groups, especially boss characters like Curtis. It also highlights finding rescue boxes containing health items hidden by an enemy named Hamlin. Area 4, Back Route. This area is described as similar to the standard route's Area 5, taking place in a square-shaped environment. The guide advises proceeding counterclockwise, as in the standard route. It also mentions rescue boxes appear here, guarded by bosses Hadlian and Ellison. The boss encounter for this area is Huey, Luai, and Dewy, and suggests a basic tactic of defeating them one by one in one-on-one fights. This strategy guide covers the reverse route in Spike Out: Digital Battle Online, focusing on Areas 5 and 6. Area 5, a warehouse, features Randolph VH as the boss, best fought using hit-and-run tactics. Sealant appears alongside emergency boxes. Area 6, the final area of Stage 1 reverse route, is equivalent to Area 3 on the standard route and is populated by strong mid-bosses. Navigating Area 6 involves breaking 2 gates, and utilizing the basketball item for dribbling movement and B+J attacks is recommended. The mid-boss king in Area 6 is challenging, requiring sweeps, B+ carbon monoboride, and jump kicks, B+J, to fling him, followed by throws from behind. Normal throws are less effective. Ki-ing-type enemies can also appear on the standard route in Area 3 by hitting the basketball court door 3 times, which opens the court and summons EMPELOR enemies. Finally, Area 6's bosses, Jay Steen and Eriot, are fought in the basketball court, alongside regular enemies. The suggested strategy is to throw smaller enemies at them before engaging the weaker enemies directly. This page is an interview feature in Dreamcast Magazine, focused on the development of Spike Out: Digital Battle Online. Titled Creator's Voice, it interviews programmer Tetsuya Kaku about the game's development, particularly the control methods. The discussion covers the initial plan for analog control, which was later abandoned, the decision to remove a dedicated guard button and instead focus on punch and kick button differentiation, and the considerations for level design and stage processing in the game. The interview also touches upon the intensity of development and the team's commitment to creating a polished experience. A screenshot of in-game action is featured, and a check section at the bottom right corner specifically highlights the initial analog control experimentation and the reasons for its removal during development. This interview with Spike Out: Digital Battle Online developers Yutaka Ito and Naohiro Hirao details game design elements. Enemy AI is highlighted, with enemies strategically targeting players, using cover, and focusing on downed players or those in sight. The ground press mechanic, allowing players to pin defeated enemies, is explained. Further AI discussion emphasizes enemies' game-like strategic movements and coordinated attacks, showcasing their trained behavior. Finally, a potential Dreamcast port is considered. While not impossible, developers cite modem limitations and texture constraints compared to the arcade version as challenges. Despite difficulties rendering numerous enemies and maintaining texture quality, they express a desire to realize a Dreamcast version, particularly for online play, leveraging the console's built-in modem. This page is an advertisement titled, Amusement Meant Get It! Prize Garden, showcasing prize items available at amusement centers. It highlights items based on popular games and characters, including Panshul World, Mini LCD Game, Bomberman, Keychain Figures, Garfield, Super Jumbo Bank, Troy Movie World, and Coca-Cola Polar Bear Super Jumbo Plush Toys. It also features Yugawa Executive and Dreamcast plush toys and Bride Situation lunchboxes, suggesting a variety of prizes related to Sega and Dreamcast. The page advertises a monthly column in Dreamcast Magazine called Prize Garden that will introduce these amusement center prizes. This page showcases a range of Christmas-themed merchandise planned for release from November 1998 to May 1999. Items include Ant-Man Man Christmas Action Dolls, Sesame Street Christmas Wall Lights and Plush Toys, Garfield Christmas Plush Toys, and Tamena and Friends Christmas Room Lights. There are also Akihabara Denu Gumi Keychain Figures and Sakura Wars 2 Collection Figures Volume 1, alongside Dengeki Senki Vajra mouse pads. Super Jumbo plush toys are advertised for Sakura Wars 2, Magical Angel Creamy Mommy, and Sonic Adventure, all expected for release in 1999. A prize draw is also mentioned for readers. This page is a horoscope section titled Hakusaki Kima's Dreamcastrology Weekly for the week of November 27th to December 3rd. It provides fortune readings for each zodiac sign, covering aspects like overall luck, money, health, love, and work. It includes advice for both boys and girls under each sign and mentions the Dreamcast launch date on November 27th. This page is an advertisement for the Sakura Wars OVA fanbook, specifically the second volume. It is priced at 1,800 yen and will be 96 pages in B5 size, scheduled for release in late December. The fanbook will feature a fold-out poster on the back cover, using a cell drawing from the advertisement, staff interviews, a story digest using cell art, and newly revealed setting materials. The advertisement highlights that this volume covers the excitement of Act 4 of the Sakura Wars OVA series. This page announces the upcoming issue of Dreamcast Magazine, issue number 18 on December 18th, with an early sales date of December 4th. The page highlights staff credits for the magazine. Featured articles include Dreamcast scoops on Psychic Force 2012, Shenmue White Illumination, Sonic Adventure, New Century Evangelion Evolution, Sega Rally 2, Climax Landers, Aero Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, and Incoming, a foreign body, also known as Incoming: The Final Conflict internationally. There's also Dreamcast strategy guides and information for Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Godzilla Generations, and Pen Pen Tri-Isolon. Sega Saturn new software information is also featured, along with Sakura Wars Imperial Capital Graph, Girl Toy Doll, Winning Post 3 Program 98, and Hanamizu's Snow. A special bonus controller sticker is mentioned as an included gift, described as a Dreamcast Magazine special anti-low sticker for easily identifying controllers during multiplayer sessions. This page is an advertisement for 2 games. First up is Friends, Seishun no Kagayaki, or Friends Youthful Radiance, which is advertised as coming soon for the Sega Saturn. It's priced at 7,200 yen and will be a 2-CD set. The text asks, "Back then, the feelings I couldn't convey. Who is it you wanted to meet?" The second game advertised is PLA, Carrot EU Koso, 2 inches, or PLA, Welcome to Carrot 2, which is already on sale, also priced at 7,200 yen for a 2-CD set. The page is filled with character artwork and screenshots from both of these games. This page is a full-page advertisement and features a large red heart dominating the center. Below the heart and to the right are the words D2 and the stacked letters WARP, which is the game developer. This is likely an advertisement for the Dreamcast game D2,